Chapter 3030. The Devil Dragon Sword Court is really scary. The top two on the Young Dragon Bounty list are actually their disciples. Exactly. However, the Golden Phoenix Sword Palace is not weak either. It's just that their disciples are more low-key, unlike the Devil Dragon Sword Court's disciples who are more flamboyant. Ling Xiao stood in the crowd and listened to their discussion. He was a little surprised. He did not expect Wu Qing and Xue Yi to be his fellow disciples. This was really interesting. These two fellows would most likely become his enemies in the Black Tortoise Seal contest. I lost. At this moment, Wu Qing struggled to stand up. He supported his body with his sword and looked at Xue Yi. He had lost, and he had lost so miserably that he could not fight back at all. Xue Yi's Blood Clan martial soul was too scary. Whether it was the blood curtain or the blood sea, they gave him a feeling that he could not resist. The first place on the Young Dragon Bounty list is yours. I'm afraid that the Black Turtle Seal contest will be yours. Wu Qing's voice sounded sad and helpless. He had not returned to the sect for a long time. He had been cultivating outside, so many people in the sect did not know his true strength. He thought that this time he could defeat Lin Chuang from the Sky Demon residence and get the Black Turtle Seal. Who would have thought that Xue Yi, who was weaker than him, would surpass him? In the end, it was just a pipe dream. He thought that Xue Yi was just complacent, so he wanted to teach his fellow disciple a lesson. However, the cruel reality taught him a lesson. Xue Yi was definitely not bluffing, nor was he complacent. He truly possessed a terrifying strength that was difficult for him to resist. He accepted his defeat wholeheartedly, and there was no chance for him to turn the tables. No matter how he thought about the whole battle, the result was the same. Many people in the crowd knew that the Black Turtle Seal contest of the Devil Dragon Sword Court was about to begin. Today, the battle between Xue Yi and Wu Qing had clearly shown who would get the Black Turtle Seal contest. Other than the core disciples of the Demon Master residence, only Lin Chuang from the Sky Demon residence could fight with Xue Yi. After defeating Wu Qing, Xue Yi flung his blood-red cloak and flew into the sky, quickly disappearing from everyone's sight. He still had to hunt down Ling Xiao. Furthermore, there were still more than 20 days until the Black Turtle Seal contest. He would not slack off. While hunting down Ling Xiao, he would also continue to raise his own strength. In his opinion, the Sky Devil Mansion's Lin Chuang was much more powerful than Wu Qing. Wu Qing gritted his teeth as he watched Blood Robes leave. Although he accepted his loss wholeheartedly, he was still unwilling to accept it. His cultivation was higher than Xue Yi's, but he had failed because his martial soul was inferior to Xue Yi's. This feeling was too depressing. In reality, he could not even unleash half of his strength under Xue Yi's martial soul. I didn't expect you to have such a day. 7 days ago, you really beat me up so badly. Suddenly, a voice came from the crowd. At that moment, everyone's gaze was focused on this person. It was a handsome and carefree figure. He was dressed in a green robe and his black hair danced in the wind. There was a hint of mockery in his deep eyes. Ling Xiao. He's Ling Xiao, who is ranked 30th on the bounty list with a bounty of 2 million medium spiritual stones. This face was all too familiar to everyone present. Almost everyone had seen Ling Xiao's bounty list. Although there were some differences between the portrait and the real person, this face was 70 to 80% similar. Moreover, there should not be a second person who had such a frivolous aura and looked so similar. However, Ling Xiao had always been here. Why did he not dare to show himself earlier? Was it because he was afraid of Xue Yi? There's nothing embarrassing about being afraid of Xue Yi. After all, Xue Yi is stronger than Wu Qing. How could Ling Xiao be his match? Whether or not this was true, no one knew. But judging from the current situation, it seemed to be true. What right do you have to mock me? Wu Qing looked at Ling Xiao and said, You can't even block one of my attacks. That's right. 7 days ago, I couldn't block one of your attacks. But do you think you're still my match now? Ling Xiao mocked. Although your cultivation is high, you can't even defeat Shui. Your use of your martial soul is also a mess. If I had your cultivation, Shui would not be worth mentioning at all. Bullsh *T. It's obvious that my martial soul is not as good as Shui's. That's why I can't display my strength. Wu Qing shouted. Ling Xiao sneered. A person's strength is indeed related to their martial soul. However, Shui's martial soul is not the immemorial divine dragon martial soul, nor is it the 12 human deity martial soul. It's just a half-baked blood clan martial soul. It's not much stronger than your sword martial soul. However, you've been led by the nose since the beginning. You're so stupid. You mean, even if we have the same martial soul, I will still lose to Shui? Wu Qing asked. That's right. Your understanding of martial souls and battle is too naive. To be honest, the reason why you can stay at the top of the young dragon bounty list for such a long time is because your cultivation is high enough. When someone's cultivation is close to yours, you won't be able to do it. Ling Xiao's reply was merciless. Humph, you're so arrogant. Do you think that I'll lose to you just because I lost to Shui? You can't even take a single strike from me. So stop spouting nonsense. Wu Qing, of course, would not accept Ling Xiao's words. Arrogant? That's right. I'm really arrogant. To be honest, I came to Ming City today to find trouble with you. However, looking at your current state, even if I win against you, it'll be an unfair victory. Your injuries will take at least 10 days to half a month to recover. Let's do it this way. In half a month's time, let's fight here. Let's see if I'm arrogant or you're ignorant. Ling Xiao did not find trouble with Shui because Shui had not found trouble with him yet. However, Wu Qing was different. He still remembered the grudge of that strike. However, if he were to kill Wu Qing now, it would be too boring. No need for half a month. 10 days. Just 10 days, Wu Qing said. When the time comes, I'll let you understand that I, Wu Qing, am not someone that any Tom, Dick, or Harry can bully. All right then. See you in 10 days. Ling Xiao waved his hand, turned around, and left. The show was over. Next, it was time to calm down and cultivate. 10 days later, he would come here to fight with Wu Qing. The crowd looked at Ling Xiao's back as he left and became excited again. 10 days later, they would be able to watch the fight here again. Shui might even come by then. Shui had been looking for Ling Xiao and wanted to kill Ling Xiao. However, Ling Xiao appeared and disappeared mysteriously. If he did not appear, no one would be able to find him. After returning to the sect, Ling Xiao suddenly thought of a good place to cultivate. It was the Demon Sovereign Catalog. Chapter 3031. There were many experts in the Demon Lord Catalog whose cultivation was much stronger than Ling Xiao's. That was why he did not dare to release all of them. However, these people could become his sparring partners and help him improve his cultivation. He had actually forgotten about this earlier. However, it was not too late to remember it now. The battle with Wu Qing was set for 10 days later. He hoped that his cultivation could at least improve by a small realm during this period of time. After notifying Sword 18 and Jian Luoying, Ling Xiao began to cultivate in seclusion. 10 days later, at the central square of Ming City, Wu Qing had arrived early and was waiting for Ling Xiao. Many people had not forgotten about the battle that day. They had also arrived at Ming City to see if Ling Xiao, who was ranked 30th on the bounty list, would die in Wu Qing's hands. It was already evening, and Wu Qing had waited for a full 4 hours. The onlookers were getting impatient. Wu Qing stood up and looked coldly into the distance. He said disdainfully, "What a cowardly guy. He only talks big. To think that I actually thought that he would come. What a joke." People looked at each other and shook their heads. Ling Xiao did not dare to face Shui 10 days ago. 10 days later, he did not dare to appear in front of Wu Qing, who had recovered from his injuries. Was he really just a coward? Was he not the frivolous young man in the rumors? I've been here for a long time. I've been waiting for you to discover my existence. Unfortunately, you've disappointed me. Suddenly, a voice came from the void. People could not help but look up. In the sky, a black spot quickly grew larger, and Ling Zhao's figure appeared. It seems that you really can't do it. It's inevitable that you'll be defeated by Shui. If today was not a duel but an assassination, you'd be dead. Are you saying that I'm frivolous and ignorant? That I'm a coward? You'd better take a piss and see what kind of person you are. In the void, Ling Zhao crossed his arms in front of his chest. His green robes fluttered in the wind. His long black hair fluttered in the wind. His powerful aura made it seem as if the sword god had descended. Wu Qing's expression was ugly. He really didn't notice Ling Zhao's existence. I'm late. You don't have to use this kind of psychological attack on me. It's useless. Wu Qing believed that the reason Ling Zhao said that was purely to strike a blow to his self-confidence. What a joke. Do I need to resort to mind tricks to deal with you? The 8 immortal swords appeared in Ling Zhao's hand, but there was only one. Things were different now. The current Ling Zhao did not need to use his dual abilities to deal with Heartless. What's the use of words? We'll only know after we fight. Wu Qing snorted coldly. Then his body gradually floated into the air, facing off against Ling Zhao in the sky. Make your move, or you won't have another chance. Ling Zhao hooked his finger at Wu Qing. That condescending look really made Wu Qing furious. A mere first revolution yin-yang realm cultivator at the early stage of the 16th level of hell dares to boast shamelessly in front of me. Even Shui wouldn't dare to do that. As he spoke, Wu Qing's sword essence continued to rise. He still did not use his sword martial soul. He only used his iron sword to generate cold and murderous sword qi. He was going to send Ling Zhao flying with his sword, just like he did 10 days ago. Only then could he prove that he was much more powerful than Ling Zhao. Ling Zhao stood there with the 8 immortal swords in his hand, but he did not transform into his beast soul. Wu Qing did not use his martial soul, so he did not need to transform into his beast soul. Otherwise, it would be bullying. Transform quickly, or you won't be able to block my attack, Wu Qing said angrily. He felt that Ling Zhao was looking down on him. Can't block it? You can try, Ling Zhao said casually. Damn it. Don't think that just because I lost to Shui any Tom, Dick, or Harry dares to look down on me. Kill. Wu Qing could not stand Ling Zhao's contempt. He did not wait any longer. With a roar, the sword in his hand stabbed out. The explosive sword qi tore the space apart, and the elements in the space became restless. He looked at his opponent's sword calmly. Ling Zhao slowly raised the 8 immortal swords in his hand and stabbed out casually. The 2 swords collided in the air. Ling Zhao's body did not move at all. However, the terrifying sword qi radiated to the surroundings. Dodge it, someone exclaimed. It was really a fight between gods, and the ordinary people suffered. Rumble. The sword qi that was sent flying destroyed several houses and pierced the ground into smithereens. Fortunately, there was no one in the houses because they knew that there would be a duel here today. Otherwise, many people would be unlucky in this collision. Many people were trembling when they saw this terrifying scene. How could this be? Wu Qing was shocked. More than 10 days ago, he had sent Ling Zhao flying with a single strike of his sword. Although he had not killed Ling Zhao, Ling Zhao's miserable appearance was still fresh in his mind. However, today his sword was easily blocked by Ling Zhao. He knew very well that his attack had not weakened. It was even stronger than 10 days ago. What did this mean? It meant that Ling Zhao had become stronger. Don't be so surprised. I've only become stronger in 10 days. Ling Zhao said indifferently, use your martial soul. Otherwise, even if you die of exhaustion today, you won't be able to hurt me. Well, you asked for it. I only wanted to defeat you and spare your life. However, once I release my martial soul, my attack will increase several times. You won't have a chance." While speaking, Wu Qing released his sword martial soul. As the sword martial soul was released, his iron sword became more ferocious. His aura also became more powerful. That's more like it. However, it's still a pity. With your current strength, it's impossible for you to defeat me. You can't even defeat Shui Yi, who is at the late stage of the 16 levels of hell. Don't you understand? Your fighting ability is too weak. You've wasted your high cultivation. Ling Xiao quickly transformed into the undying bird beast soul and said with a smile, "Shut up." With a roar, Wu Qing condensed an even more powerful attack and attacked Ling Xiao. The ferocious sword Qi made the space cry out miserably. This attack was as fast as lightning. In terms of power, it was several times stronger than before. However, the result of this attack was still the same. Ling Xiao, who was in his beast soul transformation, easily blocked Wu Qing's attack. "How dare you hide your skills in front of me? With your identity and status, plus your cultivation, you should know the martial arts of general level, right? Don't try to fool me with these peak soldier level martial techniques. It's useless." Ling Xiao yawned, and a sarcastic look appeared on his face. This made Wu Qing's expression extremely ugly. The crowd was extremely shocked. In fact, more than 10 days ago, when Ling Xiao was sent flying by Wu Qing's sword, many people saw it. They knew that Wu Qing was not lying. However, today, Ling Xiao was able to deal with the furious Wu Qing so calmly. Chapter 3032. I admit that your defense is strong, but you can only be a coward like this. You can defend against others, but can you kill others? Wu Qing mocked. Hee, I wanted to give you a chance to show off. Since you want to see my attack, I'll fulfill your wish. Don't worry, I'll only use one strike and I won't kill you. Today, I'll treat you the same way you treated me. We're even. Ling Xiao laughed coldly and slowly raised the 8 immortal sword in his hand. Black flames gathered on the blade of the sword. Terrifying fire elements danced around his body. Crazy massacre, sword intent. Destruction, sword intent, kept rising. At this time, the 8 immortal swords shone with a dark light, completely turning into a sword of black flames. What a terrifying sword intent. I don't even have the courage to raise my head in front of him. That's right. When did Ling Xiao become so strong? He wasn't this strong just a few days ago. He's probably a genius. His cultivation speed is so fast that it's shocking. People discussed, shocked and surprised. The 8 immortal sword shone with a black light as terrifying as a solar eclipse. They didn't even dare to look directly at it, or they would go blind. Furthermore, the sword intent released by the long sword made them feel even more uneasy and fearful. Ling Xiao took a step forward and stood in the air. Like a tide, sword intent poured out and pounced on Wu Qing. Do you know Wu Qing? 17 days ago, you sent me flying with one strike. At that time, my cultivation was only at the peak of the 15th level of hell. What do you have to be proud of? With your strength, you should be able to kill me with one strike. But all you did was send me flying. You couldn't even seriously injure me. Now, my cultivation has advanced to the middle stage of the 16th level of hell. I don't know if you're stupid or stupid. What gives you the confidence to fight me? Ling Xiao took another step forward. The fiery sword Qi was condensed to the extreme. The terrifying sword intent pressured Wu Qing to the point that he couldn't breathe. At that moment, Wu Qing felt as if he was under the gaze of 10,000 swords. No matter what he did, he felt extremely dangerous. Strange flame sword art, fire rain burst. Finally, Ling Xiao's sword stabbed out. The black flames turned into a sharp and scorching rain of fire. Hundreds of black sword Qi wrapped in flames shot towards Wu Qing. Wu Qing's eyes widened in horror. At the same time, he also thrust out his sword. It was also a beginner general level sword technique. However, after the two sword techniques collided, the merciless sword chi instantly fell apart. You are really too weak, too weak. The primary general realm swordsmanship had actually been practiced to the basic realm. How can you block my attack? Break. Chi. The terrifying sword chi finally shattered the metal sword in Heartless' hand and pierced through his body. Wu Qing let out a blood-curdling scream that shook the heavens and earth, causing countless people to tremble in fear. Everyone looked at this scene in shock, their mouths wide open in disbelief. They thought that Ling Xiao was no match for Wu Qing and that Wu Qing could easily defeat Ling Xiao. The only thing Ling Xiao could do was to try his best to avoid being killed in one move. However, the result was beyond everyone's expectations. Ling Xiao was unscathed. However, Wu Qing's body was pierced through by the sword, and he was sent flying like a kite with a broken string. He fell into a house. There were still black flames burning on his body. No. Wu Qing stood up, ignoring the pain in his body, and roared at the sky. Although he was defeated by Shui Yi, he did not give up. He thought that he could still stand up. He was stronger than most martial artists. And Ling Xiao was the person he used to regain his confidence. However, he was defeated again, and this time he was defeated even more miserably. The confidence he had just regained was completely destroyed. Why are you roaring? I didn't kill you. You sent me flying before. Today I'll return the favor. We don't owe each other anything. You wanted to use me to regain your confidence, so you ended up in this situation. You only have yourself to blame. Everyone nodded. Ling Xiao was right. Wu Qing thought that Ling Xiao was a pushover, and thought that defeating Ling Xiao could boost his confidence. He did not expect to kick an iron plate. The price he paid was not only a serious injury, but also a psychological trauma. Would Ling Xiao be afraid of Shui Yi? Originally, people thought that Ling Xiao avoided Shui Yi because he was afraid. However, Ling Xiao defeated Wu Qing with ease today. This completely subverted everyone's thoughts. Shui Yi might not be as strong as Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao had not been defeated since he was listed on the bounty list. No one knew how strong he was, at least until now. Whether Shui Yi or Ling Xiao was stronger, unless the two of them fought, it would become a mystery. It's a pity that Shui Yi is preparing for the Black Tortoise Seal contest. He has been in seclusion all this time and did not come to Ming City. Otherwise, we would definitely be able to see the battle between the two. Yes, it's a pity. However, we should be able to see it in the future. After the Black Tortoise Seal contest, I believe Shui Yi will definitely look for Ling Xiao to fight. After all, Ling Xiao defeated the opponent that he spent years of hard work to finally defeat. Ling Xiao did not listen to the crowd's discussion. He just looked at Wu Qing coldly and said, "Get lost!" Wu Qing was not angry when he heard this. He was numb and his heart was filled with despair. He thought that among the martial artists under the age of 20, he was only weaker than Lin Chuang and Shui Yi. However, Ling Xiao's appearance made him feel that he was a laughable frog at the bottom of a well. Wu Qing did not want to die. Therefore, he had to get lost. Moreover, in front of Ling Xiao, he always had a feeling that he was incomparably small, which made him feel very uncomfortable. He staggered away, and his wretched figure made everyone sigh endlessly. However, this was the mystic world. When one wanted to use others as a stepping stone, it was best to be prepared to be defeated. Today's Wu Qing was Ling Xiao's stepping stone. After Wu Qing left, Ling Xiao also turned around and left. Although Ming City did not have a city lord for the time being, there was no guarantee that the martial artist from Heavenly Sword Hall would come looking for him. Ling Xiao did not dare to be too careless. However, even though he had left, the shock that he brought to the crowd was still enormous. However, most people still felt that Ling Xiao was still inferior to Shui Yi. Shui Yi's martial soul was too special and too powerful. It was simply the nemesis of swordsmen. If Ling Xiao encountered Shui Yi, He would probably be helpless against the blood-descendant martial soul. However, Ling Xiao was younger than Xue Yi and defeated Wu Qing with a lower cultivation. This was enough to show that Ling Xiao's talent far surpassed Xue Yi's. Ling Xiao might not be a match for Xue Yi now, but in the future, Ling Xiao would definitely surpass Xue Yi. Chapter 30-33. However, it was only a guess whether Ling Xiao or Xue Yi was stronger. They would only know who was stronger after the battle. Therefore, almost everyone was looking forward to the battle between Ling Xiao and Xue Yi. The news quickly spread to the Devil Dragon Sword Court. Xue Yi, who was cultivating in seclusion, could not help but come out. He went to find Wu Qing and asked him about what had happened. How interesting. A puny ant actually managed to injure you. Xue Yi mocked Wu Qing as he looked at the injured Wu Qing. If I had known this would happen, I would have killed you that day so that you wouldn't embarrass the Devil Dragon Sword Court. Wu Qing did not say anything. He looked at Xue Yi's back as he left and muttered to himself, "You don't understand. Even you would lose if you met him." He had fought both Xue Yi and Ling Xiao before. The two of them gave him a completely different feeling. Xue Yi gave him the feeling that his martial soul was strong, which prevented him from unleashing his true strength. However, Ling Xiao was different. Ling Xiao did not use his martial soul to suppress him. Even if he unleashed his strongest strength, Ling Xiao could still easily resolve it. Therefore, he had already made a judgment in his heart. Ling Xiao was stronger than Xue Yi. However, he did not say it. With Xue Yi's bad temper, he would be in trouble if he said it. In the blink of an eye, the last 10 days had passed. The Black Tortoise Seal contest was tomorrow. Ling Xiao walked out of his room. He looked a little haggard. His clothes were ragged, and his body was covered in scabs from the wounds that had just healed. Jian Luoying, who had been guarding outside the door, was shocked when she saw this. "Did someone rob you? Why do you look so haggard?" "Hee, senior sister Luoying. Today is the day we agreed on. As long as I defeat you, I can participate in the Black Tortoise Seal contest, right?" Ling Xiao said with a grin. "That's right. However, before that, you should change your clothes and wash up. I'll go look for father and arrange for us to spar," Jian Luoying said. "Okay." Ling Xiao turned around and returned to his room. Jian Luoying went to look for Jian 18. As a result, a large number of martial artists quickly gathered around the Wine Demon Mansion's arena. These were the direct disciples and ordinary disciples of the Wine Demon Mansion. In addition, there were also the commanders, deputy commanders, and personal guards who had been following Sword 18th. When Ling Xiao arrived, he had already changed into clean clothes. He no longer looked as disheveled as before. He cupped his hands at everyone and then jumped into the ring. "Senior sister." Across from him stood Jian Luoying. She was dressed in martial attire and looked extremely dashing. She gave off the feeling of a heroine. "Can I do my best?" Jian Luoying asked. "Of course." Ling Xiao nodded and entered the beast soul transformation mode of the everlasting heavenly rat. At the same time, he used the effect of the first level of the sanguinary rat. Aside from the fact that his sky tyrant martial spirit was temporarily useless, he had to give it his all this time. Although Jian Luoying's cultivation base was the same as Heartless, her combat power was much higher. This was especially true during her sparring sessions with Ling Xiao. Her combat prowess had skyrocketed. It would not be an exaggeration to say that she was the most skilled martial artist in the Demon General Mansion other than Ling Xiao. "Let's settle this in one move. Tomorrow is the Black Tortoise Seal contest. I don't want the two of you to exhaust yourself too much. Also, don't go too far," Jian 18 said. "Yes." Ling Xiao and Jian Luoying nodded at the same time. Then they released their powerful auras at the same time. Advanced stage of the 16th level of Hell in the Yin-Yang First Revolution. Did this guy break through again? Jian 18 was extremely shocked. When Ling Xiao released his cultivation base aura, he could not believe it. After all, the improvement of one's cultivation base was getting slower and slower. However, Ling Xiao did not seem to be affected at all. Clang! Ling Xiao drew a sword, the demon dragon sword. However, the demon dragon sword was no longer the same as before. Premium Emperor weapon. How is this possible? Jian 18 was shocked again. There were also exclamations from the crowd. Ling Xiao's demon dragon sword should only be a common grade emperor weapon. How did it become a premium emperor weapon? Of course! They did not know that Ling Xiao had not only been cultivating for more than 10 days. At the same time, he had also modified the demon dragon sword. He had integrated the marrow-sucking sword into it and upgraded the demon dragon primordial sword to a higher level. In addition, the 3 general-level martial techniques had also improved a lot. In particular, the elementary general-level sword technique he had obtained from Wang Qing was modified into the exotic flame sword technique. Now he had mastered all 3 techniques. Moreover, all 3 techniques had been upgraded to the martial realm. Its power was comparable to a medium general-level martial technique. As for the Golden Phoenix incarnation, it had also been cultivated to the greater mastery level. The Imperial Celestial Dragon Body had been cultivated to the proficient level, which was higher than Qun Yuan's level. These were all his trump cards in the Black Tortoiseel contest. While everyone was still in shock, the demon dragon sword in Ling Xiao's hand began to prepare a powerful move. On the other side, Jian Luoying was doing the same thing. Although she was surprised and delighted by Ling Xiao's strength, this battle had to be carried out since they had agreed on it. Senior sister, I'm going to make my move. Come on. The 2 of them finished preparing their moves almost at the same time. Exotic Flame, Sword Technique, Fiery Rain Burst. Complete Mastery. Ling Xiao thrust the sword in his hand. The black fiery sword released a terrifying aura that could destroy everything. Gravitational Sword, Thousandfold Gravity. Jian Luoying naturally released her gravitational martial soul. At the same time, she used the gravitational sword to release thousandfold gravity to attack Ling Xiao. When she used the gravitational sword, the fiery rain burst out as if it was about to fall. However, a moment later, it broke free from the restraints of the gravitational force and pierced through Jian Luoying's defense. It stopped about a foot in front of Jian Luoying. I've lost. Jian Luoying was extremely shocked. Ling Xiao was too strong. Not only did he resist her gravitational sword that was thousandfold gravity, but he could also use it freely. She believed that she would never be able to do that. If that sword had pierced her, she would have been severely injured and defeated. This failure did not discourage her. On the contrary, she was very happy. At the same time, she was filled with motivation to improve herself. With such a junior brother, she could not continue to slack off. Good. Very good. Jian 18 stood up and looked at Ling Xiao. You should still have some strength left, right? Hearing this, everyone looked at Ling Xiao. After such an attack, Ling Xiao still had strength left? Didn't that mean that Ling Xiao was even stronger than what they had seen? In the past, they had only heard that Ling Xiao was very talented and that Jiuemo had been desperately grooming him. However, it was only hearsay. They were still not convinced. However, after today's battle, they were completely convinced. The battle prowess that Ling Xiao displayed was absolutely beyond their reach. Even those commanders were so shocked that they were dumbfounded. Everyone looked at Ling Xiao with eyes full of respect. Chapter 30-34. Yes, Luo Ying is my world after all. I can't attack with all my strength. Ling Xiao scratched his head and said, embarrassedly, "What's there to be modest about? All right, let's rest for a day and participate in the Black Tortoiseel contest tomorrow. This time, we must let our wine demon residents amaze the world with a single brilliant feat. We must let those who look down on us see. However, Ling Xiao, you must obtain the Black Tortoiseel. Otherwise, the wine demon residence will be disbanded. The lives of tens of thousands of people are on your shoulders. Jian 18 patted Ling Zhao's shoulder and said earnestly, Master, don't worry. Since I'm participating, I must obtain the black tortoiseal. Ling Zhao came to the Devil Dragon's sword court mainly for the black tortoiseal. If he obtained the black tortoiseal, he would obtain the power of the black tortoise. Perhaps after obtaining this, he would leave the Devil Dragon sword court. After all, the Moon Maiden was still waiting for him in the distant Eternal Palace. He had never forgotten this, nor did he dare to forget it. The next day, the Black Tortoiseal contest officially began. It was held in the arena on the 5th floor of the 9-floored Demon Tower. To be qualified to enter, one's cultivation had to be at least at the first revolution of the Yin-Yang realm, the 16th floor of Hell. The disciples participating in the Black Tortoiseal contest were also required to be at least at the first revolution of the Yin-Yang realm, the early stage of the 16th floor of Hell. As a result, even the demon envoys were not qualified to enter. Only the personal guards, vice commanders, commanders, and demon generals were qualified. In total, there were no less than 50,000 people. This was the core strength of the Devil Dragon Sword Court. It was truly powerful. There were a total of 10 people from the Wine Demon residence participating in the Black Tortoiseal contest. All of them were at the first revolution of the Yin-Yang realm, the early stage of the 16th floor of Hell. However, the one with the highest cultivation was still Jian Luoying. Ling Zhao and the other 8 were all at the first revolution of the Yin-Yang realm, the late stage of the 16th floor of Hell. This was truly too powerful. The overall strength of the Wine Demon residence's personal disciples definitely exceeded that of the other 13 demon general residences. However, the Wine Demon residence had kept a low profile in the past, which was why they were always ranked last. If they truly displayed their full strength, they could at least enter the top 3. When Sword 18 led the Wine Demon Mansion's group to the 5th floor of the 9-level Demon Pagoda, many people had already entered. Coincidentally, he encountered the Heavenly Demon General on the way. There were a total of 9 participating disciples from the Heavenly Devil Mansion. If there was no Ling Zhao, they could have 2 more. Unfortunately, Fang Feiyun was killed by Ling Zhao, and Jinfeng Qiqi was nowhere to be found. Now, there were only 9 left. The Heavenly Demon General looked coldly at Ling Zhao, unable to hide the hatred in his eyes. Brat, I advise you to scram as soon as possible. Otherwise, I'll definitely let you know how powerful I am during the competition. The one who spoke was Lin Chuang. As the eldest disciple of the Heavenly Devil Mansion, his cultivation and connections were much better than Ling Zhao's. Although he was very domineering and liked to bully the weak, this was something that Ling Zhao absolutely could not compare to. However, the weaker ones still supported him, because he had been bullied to the point where he had no backbone at all. Ling Zhao looked straight ahead, not even glancing at Lin Chuang. Lin Chuang was so angry that he was about to attack. Enough, Lin Chuang. Whatever grudge you have, we'll talk about it later in the competition. Don't mess around now. The Devil Lord has come out of seclusion, don't you know? The Heavenly Demon General suddenly said. This disciple knows. Lin Chuang glared at Ling Zhao fiercely, then followed the Heavenly Demon General and the others into the 9-level Demon Pagoda. He just said the Devil Lord has come out of seclusion? Is the Devil Lord personally presiding over the Black Tortoiseal competition? Ling Zhao looked at Sword 18 and asked, Actually, I just heard that the Devil Lord came out of seclusion because his beloved daughter was seriously injured and her body was destroyed. Now she can only live in a nutrition tank. He came out of seclusion to investigate the truth of his daughter's injury. His daughter is called Lan Ruo. Although her strength is not very strong, she is deeply loved by the Devil Lord. It is said that she was seriously injured by someone with the same name as you. Sword 18 looked at Ling Zhao with a faint smile in his eyes. He knew Ling Zhao's true identity, but the others didn't. so he didn't mention any names. He said this to warn Ling Xiao to try not to expose himself. Otherwise, if the Devil Lord found out, he would be dead. Then I'm unlucky. If the Devil Lord hates me for my actions, I'll be in trouble. Ling Xiao said with a wry smile, "The Devil Lord has always been biased, so this is definitely a possibility. But he definitely won't do it himself. After all, the Devil Lord still cares about his face. He will only make things difficult for you, such as arranging a stronger opponent for you. But if you really have the ability, why would you be afraid?" Sword 18 said with a smile, "That's true." Ling Xiao nodded, then followed Sword 18 to the 5th level of the 9-level Demon Pagoda. The guards of the 9-level Demon Pagoda were respectful to the other demon generals, but they didn't show any respect to the Wine Demon General Sword 18. Not to mention saluting, they acted as if they didn't see him. "Humph, this time we must let these trash know that our Wine Demon residence is not to be trifled with." A personal disciple of the Wine Demon residence gritted his teeth. "It's not the first time. No need to be so angry. These are all vile people. Why lower yourself to their level? You'll only hurt your body." Sword 18 was carefree and didn't care at all. They hadn't even stepped into the 9-level Demon Pagoda, but the guards had already begun to talk. "I didn't expect that there would be 10 more participants from the Wine Demon residence. Did they really meet the requirements?" One of the guards said, sarcastically, "Hee hee. This is no different from the previous years. They always have a lot of participants, but they always come in last." Another person said, "I really don't know how these trash cultivate. Their cultivation isn't bad, but their combat strength is so weak. What a joke." Hearing such discussions, Ling Xiao finally understood what the Wine Demon residents had been through all these years. This 18th sword was really patient. If it were him, he would have long since exploded. This time he couldn't endure it either. He hated enduring. Suddenly, a terrifying sword intent was released from his body. The dozen or so guards all knelt on the ground in an instant. They were forcefully suppressed by the sword intent and couldn't even stand up. They looked at Ling Xiao in horror. They finally understood that there were some people who couldn't be offended. "Apologize." Ling Xiao said indifferently, Yes, we were blind. Our brains were flooded with water. Lord Wine Demon General, please be magnanimous and spare us." They looked at the Liquor Demon General, Sword 18 in horror. Many of them had already wet their pants. Ling Xiao's sword intent was too terrifying. It was not something they could bear. "All right, Ling Xiao, it's just a bunch of flatterers. Let's get down to business." In fact, Sword 18 was also feeling a little satisfied. He had been holding back for hundreds of years, and he was very sullen. Chapter 30-35. Jian 18 didn't want to keep pretending to be a coward and let others walk all over him. However, he hadn't been able to find a disciple capable of taking the Black Tortoiseal, so he didn't dare to rashly display the Wine Demon Residence's strength. Now, Ling Xiao's appearance changed everything. As long as Ling Xiao took the Black Tortoiseal, not only would Jian Luoying not be forced into marriage, but the Wine Demon residence would no longer be restricted and could live openly in the Demon Dragon Sword Court. The Demon Lord wanted to announce this in front of everyone. Even if that guy was shameless, he still wanted to save face. As they spoke, they had already reached the 9-level Demon Tower. Suddenly, a sneer came from behind. "So the people of the Wine Demon residence can only bully those weak guards. When they meet a true expert, they're so scared that they don't even know how to fight." The words were full of sarcasm, and Ling Xiao heard this voice very clearly. The 13th demon, General Chen Luo. Behind Chen Luo were the personal disciples of the original 13 demon generals, led by Feng Jianshan. Feng Jianshan's cultivation hadn't changed. He was still at the late stage of the 16th level of hell. There were 4 other people, all of them at the early and middle stage of the 16th level of hell. The 13 demon generals were the weakest of the demon generals, and it didn't seem to be a lie. However, Qin Luo's cultivation had already broken through. Reaching the early stage of the 17th level of hell, he could be considered a righteous demon general. Otherwise, his previous cultivation was too weak. Jian 18 didn't want to waste words with such a scoundrel. However, Ling Xiao didn't have such a good temper. He looked back at Qin Luo disdainfully and said, "If I hadn't killed the original 13 demon generals, you wouldn't have been able to sit in this position. If the original 13 demon generals are weak, then what are you? Trash? And those trash behind you, why don't you take them back early so that you don't embarrass yourself later?" Since Qin Luo spoke rudely, there was no need for him to beat around the bush. His words caused Qin Luo's face to flicker between green and red. He was so angry that his 7 apertures emitted smoke, and he was on the verge of exploding. "Well said." Jian Luoying clapped and laughed. The wine demon residence's personal disciples were also laughing happily. Ever since Ling Xiao had become a disciple of the wine demon mansion, the Devil Master Mansion's odd job workers no longer dared to come looking for trouble. They actually admired Ling Xiao's way of doing things. Today's situation was the same. If it were them, they would not dare to speak to a demon general like this. But Ling Xiao did not care at all. Even Sword 18 couldn't help but laugh. This Ling Xiao really hit the nail on the head when it came to cursing. Qin Luo and the others couldn't even find a reason to retort. "Brat, you're courting death." How could Qin Luo endure such humiliation? Immediately his killing intent soared, and he blasted a palm towards Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao wasn't afraid. Although Qin Luo had broken through to the first revolution Yin-Yang realm's 17th level of hell and was much stronger than him, he could still withstand this palm. However, he hadn't expected Sword 18th to make a move. With just a point of his finger, Qin Luo was sent flying, crashing heavily into the wall of the 9-level demon tower. He had lost all face. "I, Sword 18, haven't made a move all these years. Do people really think I'm easy to bully?" Sword 18 had had enough of 100 years of humiliation. This black tortoise seal contest was the time for him to show his strength again. Qin Luo was only at the first revolution Yin-Yang realm's 17th level of hell. He could kill him with a single finger. How dare he attack his disciples in front of him? Scram! Sword 18 might have been influenced by Ling Xiao, but his attitude also became overbearing. Qin Luo slowly climbed up from the wall, furious, but Sword 18's strength made him extremely wary. If they really fought, he wouldn't be far from death. "Let's go!" Qin Luo suppressed his anger and left with his disciple. "Remember, if you meet anyone from the Wine Demon Manor in the contest, kill them. Anyway, if they die, the Demon Lord will not blame you, but will be very happy." After walking for a while, Qin Luo clenched his teeth and said fiercely to his disciples, "Don't worry, Demon General. I'll kill that Ling Xiao." Feng Jianshan had a bellyful of anger toward Ling Xiao. Not only did this guy kill his master, the original 13 demon generals, but he also didn't give him any face. If he didn't kill Ling Xiao, Feng Jianshan wouldn't be able to calm down. It would also be a hindrance to his path of martial arts. "Let's go. This black tortoise seal contest is very difficult. You know the result of failure, right?" Sword 18 asked in a very serious tone after he had enjoyed himself. "Of course." The 10 contestants nodded and said, "Good." They continued forward, and soon a huge arena appeared in front of them. This arena was different from an ordinary arena. It was more like a coliseum. The place where the battle was taking place was a deep pit surrounded by seats for the audience. Ling Xiao could sense that there were layers of protective array formations at the edge of the crater. They should have been specially used to block the energy and prevent the arena from collapsing. There were already many people seated in the audience. Apart from the Wine Demon residents, The rest of the 13 demon generals' subordinates had already arrived. They sat on the seats that had been arranged beforehand. Every devil, general manor, had a few thousand people coming here. This also represented the strength of the demon general residence. The sky demon residence had the most people, close to 5,000. Of course, the wine demon residence wasn't bad either, around 4,000. Apart from the 14 demon generals, no one from the demon master residence had appeared. So after Ling Xiao and the others sat down, they began to wait. About 10 minutes later, more than 10,000 people arrived. They were all martial artists from the demon master residence. The moment these people arrived, they brought about a kind of terrifying, oppressive might. As expected of the demon master residence, it was truly terrifying. The seats of the demon master residence occupied one side. At the highest point, there was a very luxurious seat that overlooked the entire battlefield. That seat undoubtedly belonged to the demon dragon, Sword Court's demon master. But no one was sitting there yet. That's Empress Lan Meichen. Jian Luoying pointed at a young man who stood out among the demon master residence's seats. Although he was young, his terrifying aura caused everyone to feel fear. This person was very handsome, comparable to Ling Xiao. There was always an arrogant smile on his chiseled face, as if he was mocking everyone in the world. This Empress Lan Meichen is somewhat similar to Lan Ruo. Ling Xiao felt a little helpless. He didn't expect that the woman he killed in Ming City was actually the demon master's daughter. Her strength was trash, but she was actually the daughter of the demon dragon sword court's demon master. This was simply incomprehensible. Chapter 3036. How can they not look alike? After all, they are all born from the same mother. Jian Luoying said. Other than them, the discussions around them had stopped. It seemed to be because of Empress Lan's appearance. This young man, who was not even 20 years old, had raised his cultivation to a terrifying level. His talent made many people admire him endlessly. Moreover, he was the next successor appointed by the Demon Lord. The Demon Lord had close to 100 daughters and sons, but only Empress Lan and Mei Qin could reach this level. Therefore, he was really admirable. That was why he became the target of worship and pursuit by all the young disciples of the Demon Dragon Sword Court. Many of the genius disciples who joined the Devil Dragon Sword Court came because of Empress Lan Meichen. This young man, who was young, had created countless miracles. He was simply a legend. He was the chief judge of this year's Black Tortoise Seal contest and the person with the highest authority in charge of presiding over the contest. When young Master Di Meichen was in the 1 Revolution 15th level of Hell, he had activated 72 demon general statues. That was a legend. Unfortunately, that record was broken by Ling Xiao. At this point, many people gritted their teeth, as if Ling Xiao had committed an unforgivable mistake. That Ling Xiao is nothing. Do you know that when young Master Di Meichen was still at the peak of the first transition of the 16th level of Hell, she once faced 13 opponents of the same level and used only one move to kill them all? Of course I know. Those 13 people were the 13 bandits, ranked in the top 20 on the bounty list. Each of them had a bounty of 3 million mid-tier spiritual stones and above. One move, just one move. Those who saw this battle were shocked by young Master Di Meichen's strength. Since then, he became famous overnight. How can Ling Xiao compare to him? That's true. Comparing him to young Master Di Meichen is simply tarnishing young Master Di Meichen's reputation. Yes, what a perfect person. It is said that since he was born, he has never tasted defeat. Even martial artists who are much stronger than him do not dare to compete with him. I also heard that young Master Di Meichen once went to the Sun Ocean to train. In the end, he was intercepted and killed by a demonic beast with the strength of a peak 17 levels of Hell. At that time, his cultivation had only just broken through the 17th level of Hell. But even so, he didn't lose. Instead, he killed that demonic beast. Hee hee, almost everyone in Sword Dynasty knows about this. Young Lord D. Machin is such a great figure. Compared to him, the other geniuses would pale in comparison. As for that Ling Xiao, he can only be a joke. When these people spoke, they would always bring Ling Xiao into the conversation and criticize Ling Xiao harshly. It was as if Ling Xiao had become an unforgivable sinner for breaking Empress Lan's record. However, Ling Xiao felt that their boasting was not exaggerated at all. If what they say is true, then compared to Empress Lan, Wu Qing, Shui Yi, and Lin Chuang were not worthy of carrying his shoes. As for himself, Ling Xiao, although he did not lose to the other party in terms of talent, the difference in cultivation was too great. A genius like this would not lose to the likes of Tianhai Tyranny and Feng Fei of White Tiger Continent. This was a true genius. Perhaps Ling Xiao's enmity with his former enemies, Tianhai Tyranny and Feng Fei, would have to be settled in the Nine Supremes. To be able to compare Empress Lan with Tianhai Tyranny and Feng Fei was already the highest praise Ling Xiao could give to his opponents. Seeing that most of the people had arrived, it seemed that the Demon Lord would not be coming. Empress Lan stood up and said in a clear voice, "Gentlemen, the Demon Lord has important matters to attend to. Although he has broken through, he will not be able to attend today's battle. Therefore, according to the previous rules, I will preside over this battle. No problem, right? We naturally have no objections. We will listen to young Lord's arrangements." The celestial demon general stood up. He was the representative of the 13 demon generals. If he said there was no problem, the others would not object. In reality, no one would object. Empress Lan Machin's strength was already stronger than the 13 demon generals. Moreover, she was the next demon lord successor. There was no problem for her to preside over this battle. Uncle Jen, what do you think? Empress Lan Machin cupped her hands toward Sword 18 and asked respectfully. The stronger one was, the more they understood the terrors of Sword 18. Empress Lan Machin used to look down on Sword 18 as well, but now she knew full well how terrifying it was. Even the Demon Lord might not be able to beat Sword 18. He was even less capable. I agree as well. The 18th sword answered casually without even standing up. He thought this was normal. After all, he was an elder. But the others didn't think so. Why is that coward so rude? Exactly. How strong can he be when he's leading a bunch of trash? Really, young Lord D. Machin is so respectful towards him. Frogs in a well, these idiots were the epitome of ignorant fools. If Sword 18 had a bad temper, they would be dead by now. Big brother, you'll be in charge of the actual work. I'll watch from the side. Empress Lan Machin said to another young man beside her. This person was much older than Empress Lan Machin, but his cultivation base was much weaker. But he was definitely a demon general-level expert, although his brilliance was almost completely overshadowed by Empress Lan Machin. When Empress Lan Machin sat down and he stood up, he still exuded a powerful aura. All right. Lan Hai leaped into the air and hovered above the arena. He didn't beat around the bush and immediately explained the rules. The final prize of the Black Tortoise-Seal battle is the Black Tortoise-Seal. I won't waste time on this. Also, through this battle, we will re-rank the 13 demon general residences. I'm sure all of you are aware of this, so I won't say more. The chief judge for this battle is young Lord Empress Lan Machin. The judges will be the 9 demon lords from the demon lord residence. I believe that all of you will have some understanding of their fairness, so you don't have to worry about the fairness of the battle. You just have to put your heart and soul into the battle. The battle is divided into 2 stages. The rules of the first stage are very simple. At this point, suddenly, 20 illusory demon dragons emerged from the ground of the arena. These demonic dragons contained powerful energy, and everyone could clearly feel it. I believe everyone has seen these demon dragons. These are energy bodies formed by the power of the black tortoise. Each demon dragon can allow a martial artist at the first transformation 16 levels of hell to advance a small realm. Your mission is very simple. Seize the demon dragon. Everyone can only seize one at most. After seizing the demon dragon, you won't be able to cultivate for the time being. So before the first stage of the battle ends, you must protect it well. Otherwise, it will be taken away by others. The time limit is half an hour. After half an hour, the martial artist who obtains the demon dragon can enter the second stage of the assessment. Chapter 3037. In fact, the rules of the first stage didn't sound complicated. To put it simply, 100 people would have to fight for 20 demonic dragon energy bodies. Each person could only have one. Only by snatching it and holding it within half an hour would they be considered to have advanced. They couldn't use it to cultivate, nor could they consume it. Otherwise, it would be a violation of the rules. Therefore, no one asked about it. Ling Xiao, you know what to do, don't you? Sword 18 asked. Master, don't worry. The 10 of us will participate, and the 10 demonic dragons will be ours. Ling Xiao grinned. You're really greedy. Actually, I was thinking that you and Sakura would advance. Sword 18 smiled. How can that be? I've observed the cultivation of all the disciples of the 14 demon general residences. Our wine demon residence is the strongest, with no one lower than the late stage of the first transformation, 16 levels of hell. Why can't we all advance? Since we're going to show our strength, we might as well amaze the world with a single, brilliant feat. Ling Xiao clenched his fists. Good. Since you're so confident, Master won't say more. All of you must listen to Ling Xiao's arrangements. Understand? Sword 18 said to the other 9 wine demon residence contestants. Yes, Master. These 9 people, including Jian Luoying, all worshipped and admired Ling Xiao. How could they not listen to him? All contestants stand at the edge of the arena. Lan Hai began to make arrangements for the competition. The edge of the arena was circular, about the same distance from the center of the 20 demonic dragons. Therefore, in theory, it was very fair to start there. The 10 wine demon residents, contestants, stood together. Ling Xiao held a refining erase stone in his hand. If he wanted to maximize the power of the 10 people, a battle array was essential. It didn't matter how many people were left after entering the next stage. As long as they could obtain the demonic dragon energy, it would greatly improve the strength of the wine demon residents' disciples. Moreover, Ling Xiao wanted to show those who looked down on the wine demon residents their true strength. Under the gazes of tens of thousands of people, there were only a few people who attracted the most attention. Lin Chuang, Shui Yi, Wu Qing, and Feng Jianshan. These 4 could be considered the most dazzling 4. Ling Xiao had also become a celebrity because he had broken Lan Dimachen's record. Many people were paying attention to him. Miranda looked at Ling Xiao with a confused expression. Is that guy the one who broke my record? Reporting to the young lord, it is indeed that brat. His cultivation is not very high, but his combat power is not weak. Moreover, he clearly received the demon lord's invitation, but he still joined the wine demon residence. He simply does not put the demon lord residence in his eyes. The guardian sitting beside Empress Lan, Mei-Chin replied, a person who doesn't know what's good for him won't be able to achieve anything in the end. The demon master had said that after the black tortoise-seal contest ended, Lin Chuang, Bloodrobes, Wu Qing, and Feng Jianshan would officially join the demon master residence and become core disciples. Please help me deal with it. Empress Lan, Mei-Chin sneered and stopped looking at Ling Xiao. In his eyes, Ling Xiao was a fellow who didn't know what was good for him, a frog at the bottom of a well, and there was no need to care about him at all. Your subordinate obeys. The 4 of them are indeed the 4 most outstanding participants. I believe that after the black tortoise-seal contest, their rankings will definitely be at the top. The guardian nodded. Empress Lan Mei-Chin did not say anything else and only looked at the arena. Although he was not interested in such a battle, he was still the head judge. After all, he was the head judge, and he could not be too perfunctory. Lin Chuang and Feng Jianshan both stared at Ling Xiao. Half an hour later, they were not in a hurry to fight for the demonic dragon. After all, they would get it sooner or later. Their target was Ling Xiao. As soon as Lan Hai gave the order, they would immediately pounce on Ling Xiao and defeat Ling Xiao. After all, it was not a big deal for 1 or 2 people to die in this contest. The rules did not state that they could not kill. Moreover, the people who died were from the Wine Demon residence, so no one would care. Senior Brother Lin, leave that brat to me, Feng Jianshan said excitedly. Lin Chuang glanced at Feng Jianshan and chuckled. Forget it. If I were to fight and beat that brat, it would be an unfair victory. You do it. He agreed to Feng Jianshan's request, because in his opinion, Ling Xiao could not be compared to Feng Jianshan at all, and was not worth his time. In the tense atmosphere, Lan Hai raised his right hand. All the participating disciples waited nervously for him to put down his right hand. The audience was also looking forward to that scene. Countdown. 3, 2, 1. Begin. As Lan Hai's last syllable fell, more than 100 figures rushed toward their target. They were as fast as lightning. There were only 20 demonic dragons, but there were more than 100 people. Fighting was inevitable. Wind array. As soon as Lan Hai's last syllable fell, Ling Xiao's voice rang out. He knew that Lin Chuang and Feng Jianshan wanted to deal with him, but he did not care. The wind array could increase the speed of the warriors in the same battle array by 2 times. It would consume a lot of mid-tier spirit stones. But in order to let all 10 people from the Wine Demon residence obtain the demonic dragon's energy, Sword 18 would definitely pay for it. So there was no need to worry. The demonic dragon, which was closest to the center of the arena, was less than 300 meters away. However, one could still tell how fast it was moving. Among the 100 or so people, Xue Yi was the fastest. His movement technique was much stronger than the rest of them. Next were Lin Chuang, Wu Qing, and Feng Jianshan. When Ling Xiao used the wind formation, the few of them rushed out. So they attracted everyone's attention at the same time, so no one noticed what Ling Xiao was doing. Xue Yi is the fastest, but Lin Chuang is stronger. It seems that these 2 will be the final winners of this year's Black Tortoise Seal contest. Empress Lan Meichen nodded, feeling satisfied. Compared to her, these 2 were nothing. But compared to the others, these 2 were too outstanding. Wu Qing and Feng Jianshan are not bad. That Yunling from the Sky Demon residence is not bad either. The others are a little bit worse. The people from the Wine Demon residence have not moved yet. What a bunch of trash. A protector mocked with a smile. Don't say that. Maybe they are preparing to fight for the demonic dragon's energy with their strength. Anyway, there is still a long time. Empress Lan Meichen said lightly. Although it was a rebuttal, it sounded more like a polite statement. At this time, the people from the Wine Demon residence were also nervous. Compared to others, they were more concerned about their own people. Lord Demon General, does Ling Xiao really want to rely on his strength? That won't be easy, right? Yes, Lord Demon General. Once the 20 demonic dragons are snatched, it is very likely that the other demon residences will join forces. At that time, we won't be able to compete at all. The strength of one demon general residence to fight against the other 13 demon general residences is too unbelievable. Chapter 3038. In fact, Sword 18 was very nervous. He didn't know what Ling Xiao was planning. He also knew that once the demonic dragons were divided, the Wine Demon residents would lose their chance. Those 13 Demon General Manors could really join hands to eliminate the Wine Demon Manor. Ling Xiao, oh Ling Xiao, what are you doing? Sword 18 muttered to himself. At this moment, a strange situation suddenly appeared on the scene. the 10 demonic dragons suddenly disappeared. Many people didn't even see what happened. Even Bloodrobe, the fastest guy, couldn't touch the demonic dragons. Then, the 10 demonic dragons disappeared altogether. What happened? What happened? Everyone was asking. However, Lon Hai, who was in charge of hosting, saw everything. After all, his cultivation was at the demon general level. His eyesight was better than most warriors. What he saw was a gust of wind that was faster than everyone else. The distance of 300 meters was crossed in an instant. Within this distance, this speed was comparable to teleportation. The 10 contestants from the Wine Demon residence obtained the 10 demonic dragons. Lon Hai announced this important news. Everyone was shocked. Emperor Lon Machen's brows furrowed tightly. Battle formation? And it's the wind array of the elemental array. Legend has it that this array can only be controlled by a top array master, and their soul power must be very strong. Who exactly activated this battle formation? Because the 10 people from the Wine Demon residence obtained the demonic dragon's energy at the same time, even Empress Lon Machen didn't notice who activated the array. At this time, Bloodrobe and Lin Chuang also obtained 2 demonic dragons. Then, Wu Qing and Feng Jianshan also obtained them. Feng Jianshan originally planned to deal with Ling Xiao first, and then fight for the demonic dragons. However, because Ling Xiao and the others didn't move at first, he didn't dare to fight 10 people alone. So he changed his strategy. And so, the 14 demonic dragons were gone. Demon General, what just happened? At this time, even the audience from the Wine Demon residence was dumbfounded. They were worried that the Wine Demon residence wouldn't get 1 demonic dragon. But in the blink of an eye, they obtained 10 demonic dragons. It was simply unbelievable. Wind formation. No wonder that kid Ling Xiao is so calm. It seems like he has more secrets than we do. With Sword 18's eyesight, he could naturally see how Ling Xiao had allowed Wine Demon Manor to win. However, obtaining the demonic dragon was only the first step. The problem was whether or not he could keep it. His excitement was different from that of Sword 18. The Sky Demon General and Demon General Qin Luo's expressions were extremely ugly. They even stood up in shock. He stared at the scene in disbelief. So what if you have it? You'll lose it very soon. Chen Luo snorted and winked at Feng Jianshan and the other contestants from the 13 Devil Generals' residences. At the same time, the Heavenly Demon General did the same thing. He also gave Lin Chuang and Yunling a look. His meaning was very clear. When someone wanted to fight over the Wine Demon Manor's Devil Dragon, he would go with the flow and help, eliminating all the people from the Wine Demon Manor. The other demon generals, as well as those who had personally witnessed Ling Xiao winning 3 consecutive championships in the entrance examination and breaking many records, found it even harder to calm down. 1 month's time. It had only been 1 month. They still remembered clearly that Ling Xiao's cultivation was only at the early stage of the 14th level of hell at the first transformation of the Yin-Yang realm. But now he had become so powerful. Not only had he obtained the demonic dragon, but he had also led Wine Demon Manor to obtain 10 demonic dragons. Although they did not know exactly who had used the battle formation, it was very clear that the other disciples of the Wine Demon Mansion were extremely respectful to Ling Xiao, following his lead blindly. If they still couldn't tell who the backbone was, then they were really blind. Once again, Ling Xiao had used practical actions to slap the Sky Demon General and Demon General Qin Luo's faces. In the past, it was the 13 Devil Generals who had refused to accept Ling Xiao as a personal disciple. The Sky Demon General didn't appreciate Ling Xiao. If it weren't for Demon Envoy Ling Xiao might have been forced to be a servant. But now, Ling Xiao's performance didn't lose to any personal disciple. Damn it! The Wine Demon General took advantage of him. Qin Luo really shouldn't have rejected him back then. He chose Lin Feiyan and he actually died for no reason. The Sky Demon General is too much. He chose Ling Xiao as his personal disciple and ran away. He might as well have chosen Ling Xiao as his personal disciple. These discussions made the Sky Demon General and Chen Luo's faces turn ugly. Their hatred for Ling Xiao had risen to an unresolvable level. He hated that he couldn't hack Ling Xiao into 1,000 pieces to appease the hatred in his heart. Of course, they could only think about it. They couldn't do it with the Demon Master Manners people around. Once they made a move, the result would be obvious. It seems that the person who used the battle formation is that guy called Ling Xiao. No wonder he could break my record. He's quite capable. In 1 month, his cultivation has risen so much. His talent is stronger than mine. Emperor Lan Meichen looked at Ling Xiao and frowned. For the first time, he felt nervous and oppressed. Ling Xiao didn't care about those people's exclamations or envy. Actually, the show had just begun. Getting the demonic dragon was only the first step. Protecting the demonic dragon was the key to the final victory. Change formation, metal formation. Another formation, refining stone, was taken out. The wind formation was transformed into a metal formation, increasing attack and defense. After the surprise, it was anger. After the 20 demonic dragons were divided, there were still many people who didn't get the demonic dragon. They set their sights on the Wine Demon Manor. Those people from the Wine Demon Manor are all good-for-nothings. I don't know what tricks they used this time to increase their speed so quickly, but no matter how fast they are, their combat power is weak. Snatch it. There are 10 demonic dragons. A roar came from the crowd. So, more than 100 people all pounced on the Wine Demon Manor's martial artists. In this aspect, they were very united. Shui sat at the side and didn't make a move because it had nothing to do with him. After Wu Qing got the demonic dragon, he also sat at the side to rest. No one dared to snatch it from him, because those who were stronger than him had already gotten the demonic dragon. However, Lin Chuang and Feng Jianshan led all the contestants from the Sky Demon Manor and the 13 Demon Generals' manors to become the vanguard to attack the Wine Demon Manor. Oh no, Lord Demon General. We've become the target of public criticism. Can Ling Xiao and the others hold on? Once again, the Wine Demon Manor's audience became nervous, and the audience from the 13 Demon Generals' manors and Sky Demon Manor laughed gloatingly. Serves you right. Who asked you to be so greedy and snatch 10 demonic dragons at once? In fact, even if Ling Xiao wasn't greedy, so what? Chapter 3039. Senior Sister Luoying, all of you just need to maintain the battle formation and protect the demonic dragons in your hands. I'll deal with them. Ling Xiao walked out of the battle formation and let Jian Luoying and the others control it. As for him, he hooked his finger at all the enemies. Come on, if you're not afraid of death, come and snatch it. Frivolous, unrestrained, and insufferably arrogant, Ling Xiao was still Ling Xiao. Although his face and even his body had changed, it was easier to change mountains and rivers than to change one's nature. Go. Lin Chuang waved his hand, and a group of people rushed forward. However, he and Feng Jianshan did not make a move for the time being. The strength of the wind formation surprised both of them. Therefore, they wanted to see what Ling Xiao was capable of. Get lost. Facing the attack, Ling Xiao did not even use his beast soul transformation because he wanted to test how powerful the newly learned martial arts were. Imperial Celestial Dragon Body. His entire body was wrapped in golden yellow light like a divine dragon. Then he rushed forward. Without using any technique, he directly threw out a punch. Under the support of the Imperial Celestial Dragon Body, the domineering fist erupted with a terrifying power close to a beginner general-level martial arts technique. Boom! The few martial artists who rushed at the front were directly sent flying. They flew all the way to the edge of the arena and were bounced back by the protective enchantment. His move immediately frightened many martial artists and made them stop in their tracks. It was too powerful and too domineering. Although the martial artists who were attacked by him did not die, they could no longer get up and were lying on the ground moaning. No one wanted that. If they could not get the demonic dragons and were seriously injured, they had completely lost all hope. In the stands, a demon king suddenly stood up with a surprised expression. "Dragon Demon King, what's wrong?" Empress Lan Mei-chin asked curiously. "That kid is using the Imperial Celestial Dragon body. That's my specialty," Dragon Demon King replied. And looking at the strength of his Imperial Celestial Dragon body, I'm afraid he has already cultivated it to the proficient level. This kid has only joined the sect for a month. How did he cultivate it? I once passed down this Imperial Heavenly Dragon body to a demon envoy called Qin Yuan. He cultivated it for 10 years before he managed to cultivate it to the small success level. Are you sure it's the Imperial Celestial Dragon body? When Empress Lan Mei-chin heard the Dragon Demon King's words, she was also extremely surprised. "I can't be wrong, young master. How could I be wrong about the martial arts I practice?" Dragon Demon King said with certainty. "Could it be that this kid is really a peerless genius? Even my mother misjudged him?" Emperor Lan Mei-chin's eyes twinkled. No one knew what she was thinking. At this moment, the situation on the battlefield changed again. The few people who had been severely injured by Ling Xiao earlier were all martial artists at the early stage of the 16th level of Hell in Yinyang Realm. Therefore, under the instigation of Lin Chuang and Feng Jianshan, some mid-stage 16th level Hell cultivators were quickly blinded by greed. After all, there were 10 demonic dragons. Even if he could snatch one of them, it would be fine. Therefore, several dozen people attacked Ling Xiao and the Wine Demon Manor's people at the same time. Ling Xiao smiled coldly and transformed into a purple electric tearing bull. Then his hooves suddenly knocked on the ground. The earth quakes. Those several dozen people were instantly stunned. Then Ling Xiao used the demonic dragon phantom movement technique and turned into a bolt of lightning, shuttling through the crowd. His terrifying speed was shocking to the extreme. That should only be an advanced soldier level movement technique. He used it so skillfully. It's faster than most people's peak soldier level movement techniques. This kid is really a genius. Although many people did not think highly of Ling Xiao and hated Ling Xiao, they had to admit that Ling Xiao had displayed everything a genius should have. In an instant, more than 60 martial artists all fell. Everyone fainted from the electric shock. At this moment, Ling Xiao had also changed from the purple electric tearing bull form back to his half-demon form. He crossed his arms in front of his chest and looked at Lin Chuang and Feng Jianshan with contempt. "You two only know how to instigate others to die while you watch from the sidelines. You're really smart." Bullsh*T. "We just don't want to fight with you," Lin Chuang scolded. "Don't want to fight? I think you're afraid," Ling Xiao mocked. "You're courting death. All of you get out of the way. I'll do it." Feng Jianshan could not hold it in anymore. He was at the 16th level of the Yinyang realm in the first rotation, but Ling Xiao said he was afraid. He really could not stand it. In any case, his initial decision was to eliminate Ling Xiao in the first round of the competition. Now was the perfect opportunity. The rest of the people stood to the side. Feng Jianshan faced Ling Xiao and took out his sword. It was a huge broadsword that was taller than his body. One look and one could tell that he was a strength-type opponent. "Young master, aren't you going to stop them? If we let the experts encounter each other so quickly, no matter which one of them is defeated, it will weaken the excitement of the second round." A demon king said to Empress Lan Mei-chin, "What you said makes sense." "All right." Empress Lan Mei-chin stood up and suddenly called for a pause. "Announce a new rule. Warriors who have obtained the demonic dragon are not allowed to attack other warriors. They can only defend passively." Although many people did not understand this rule, They did not dare to go against it. Feng Jianshan gritted his teeth and put away his broadsword. He looked coldly at Ling Xiao and said, "You're lucky that young master added this rule. Otherwise, I'll definitely make you bleed." "Hee, we don't know who's the lucky one. The second round will probably be a battle between warriors. I hope we can meet. Then, you'll know who's the lucky one." Ling Xiao also stopped transforming. To him, there were not many opponents who could make him transform. Shui, Lin Chuang, Wu Qing, and Sword Sakura were 4 of them. Feng Jianshan did not count. The change in the rules made the following battles a little boring. On Ling Xiao's side, there were almost no more challengers. One had to know that he had defeated more than 60 people by himself. They had completely lost their ability to fight. Who would dare to find trouble with him unless there was something wrong with their heads? In the end, after half an hour, the 10 people from the Wine Demon residence still had a demonic dragon. Half an hour is up. Everyone stopped fighting. Lan Hai, who was floating in midair, gave the order. Following the order, no one dared to continue. Although Lan Hai was not as strong as Empress Lan Meichen, compared to these participants, he was still very scary. Seeing that everyone had stopped, Lan Hai nodded in satisfaction and said, "Those who did not obtain the demonic dragon can leave now." A group of people left dejectedly. There was even a group of people who were directly carried out. They challenged Ling Xiao, but were heavily injured or fainted by Ling Xiao. They did not even have the ability to leave the arena. Those who were eliminated all left. There were only 20 people left in the arena. The people from the Wine Demon residence crowded around Ling Xiao excitedly. "Junior brother, you're really strong." Chapter 3040. It's no big deal, but I can't help you in the second round. It'll probably be a one-on-one battle. We might even have to fight against each other. Good luck. Ling Xiao smiled. That's nothing. We've earned a lot of points in the first round. As long as you can win the second round, our Wine Demon residence will be considered a success in this year's Black Tortoise Seal contest. That's right. Moreover, we've obtained the demonic dragon's energy, which can directly raise our cultivation by a small realm in the first revolution, 16 levels of hell. We're already at the late stage. After raising our cultivation, we'll be at the peak. Who can stop us? That's true. Let's use the demonic dragon's energy during the break later. It'll definitely be helpful in the next round. Ling Xiao nodded. He felt extremely carefree. As long as he used the demonic dragon's energy, his cultivation should be able to reach the peak of the first revolution 16 levels of hell. This way, even if he encountered demon General Chenluo, who was at the early stage of the first revolution 17th level of hell, he wouldn't have to be afraid. At this moment, other than the 10 spots occupied by the Wine Demon residence, the other 10 spots were very clear. The Sky Demon residence had 2 spots, Lin Chuang and Yunling. The Earth Demon residence had 1 spot, Shui. The Human Demon residence had 1 spot, Wu Qing. The 13 demon generals had 1 spot, Sword Sealing Mountain. They had already taken up 5 spots. The remaining 5 spots were obtained by the strongest disciples from the 4th demon general to the 8th demon general. Many people probably didn't expect this result. None of the disciples from the 9th demon general to the 12th demon general advanced. The reason for this result was that the Wine Demon residence had taken up too many spots. Out of the 20 spots, the Wine Demon residence had taken up 10. To the 13 demon generals, this was actually a huge mockery, because the most fundamental reason for this result was Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao's wind array allowed the Wine Demon residence to obtain 10 demonic dragons. Ling Xiao's powerful combat strength allowed the Wine Demon residence to guard these 10 demonic dragons. And this Ling Xiao, they had the opportunity to take him as a personal disciple. But in the end, they didn't choose him and threw Ling Xiao away like trash. Today, All of them had been slapped in the face by Ling Xiao. It was just that some were light and some were heavy. Of course, the ones with the worst expressions were still the Heavenly Demon General and the 13th Demon General, Chen Luo. The two of them had the deepest enmity with Ling Xiao. The better Ling Xiao performed, the angrier they became. Humph, you managed to avoid the fate of being killed in the first trial. However, you won't be able to avoid the second trial. Chen Luo gritted his teeth. He was actually very unhappy with Empress Lan Meichen's decision, but he was extremely wary of Empress Lan Meichen's identity and strength. He did not dare to talk nonsense and could only do as Empress Lan Meichen said. Fortunately, he still had a chance in the second stage. First of all, congratulations to the 20 of you for advancing. The second stage was a one-on-one battle. They would draw lots to determine their opponents. 10 people would be chosen first. Then they would draw lots again to decide on 5 people. In the end, these 5 people would engage in a free-for-all battle in the arena and be ranked according to the order of defeat. The last one standing will be the champion. Speaking up to here, Lan Hai smiled and said, "The rewards for this second round are very generous. Those who could make it to the top 10 would each receive 100,000 middle-grade spirit stones. Those who made it to the top 5 would each receive 500,000 middle-grade spirit stones. Other than that, the third place would receive an additional 500,000 middle-grade spirit stones. The final reward would be 1 million. The second place would receive an additional 1 million middle-grade spirit stones. The final reward would be 1,500,000. Other than the black tortoise seal, the first place would also receive 100,000 upper-grade spirit stones. I'm sure all of you know that 30,000 upper-grade spirit stones would be 1 to 3 million middle-grade spirit stones. Even so, no one would choose to exchange for it, because to a martial artist, the value of 30,000 upper-grade spirit stones far surpasses 3 million middle-grade spirit stones. Oh my God! The first place is actually rewarded with upper-grade spirit stones. This has never happened before. That's really generous. This upper-grade spirit stone, although the normal exchange rate is 1 piece for 100 middle-grade spirit stones. In fact, the exchange rate in the black market is 1 piece can be exchanged for up to 10,000 middle-grade spirit stones. Its value is simply unparalleled. Damn, I'm so envious. But who can get this thing? It must be either Lin Chuang or Xue Yi. Lin Chuang has always been the strongest among the 13 devil residences. Xue Yi recently defeated Wu Qing, and his strength increased greatly. Can't it be Ling Xiao? I think he's very strong. Impossible, impossible. After all, Ling Xiao's cultivation is still insufficient. He can't compare to Lin Chuang or Xue Yi. It would be a miracle if he could defeat Wu Qing and sealed Sword Mountain. I think so too. But even if he's only in the top 5, the reward is still very generous. No matter what, the Wine Demon residence has gained face this time. All this time, many people have treated them as trash. The audience below the stage discussed excitedly. The ones who had the most hope were still Lin Chuang and Xue Yi. Even if Ling Xiao's performance was outstanding, they still did not think that Ling Xiao could defy the heavens. In fact, Jian Luoying did not perform at all in the first round. Therefore, other than the people from the Wine Demon residence, no one knew how terrifying her strength was. To be honest, in Ling Xiao's opinion, other than Lin Chuang, there was probably no one present who could beat Jian Luoying. Even Lin Chuang only had a 60% chance of winning. While the audience was discussing, the 20 warriors who had advanced began to draw lots. No one was willing to meet powerhouses like Lin Chuang and Xue Yi at the beginning. Of course, Ling Xiao did not care about this. No matter who he drew, he could defeat them. Of course, if he drew someone weaker, he would win more easily. Although the Wine Demon residents had achieved excellent results in the first round, other than Ling Xiao, the other 9 did not perform much. Therefore, they were all considered delicious cakes. Everyone wanted to draw them. Little did they know that none of the 9 were weak. If they drew Jian Luoying, it would be too late to cry. Humph! What's so great about having more people? The one who laughs last will laugh the best. The heavenly demon general snorted coldly. This was also the thought of the other demon generals. During the drawing of lots, there were too many people from the wine demon residence, so they were put at the end. After Feng Jianshan drew his lot, he walked in front of Ling Xiao and deliberately showed his number, 10. If you draw the same number, you're dead. I've said before, you were lucky to escape in the first round. You'd better not meet me in the second round. Otherwise, I'll kill you. Feng Jianshan had a grudge against Ling Xiao for killing his master. Moreover, he had been annoyed by Ling Xiao many times. His hatred for Ling Xiao had seeped into his bones. Hee, just don't lose before you meet me. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Stubborn. At this time, Lin Chuang also drew his lot. He drew number 1. Chapter 3041. The enmity between Lin Chuang and Ling Xiao wasn't that great. Although Ling Xiao had killed Fang Feiyun was his junior brother. However, Lin Chuang and Fang Feiyun didn't have a good relationship. Lin Chuang hated Ling Xiao because Ling Xiao wasn't obedient and even stole his limelight in the first round. In his opinion, disobedient people needed to be taught a good lesson. Kid, there are many people who want to beat you up. Apart from Fengjian Mountain, there's also me. If you're lucky enough to avoid Fengjian Mountain, you'll be even more unlucky. I'll beat you up until you look like a pig and then slowly torture you to death. Lin Chuang sneered. Idiots, you two better pray that you don't meet me. Ling Xiao cursed in disdain and then ignored them. Junior brother, do you want us to exhaust those 2 guys as much as we can? A senior brother from the wine demon residence asked. There's no need. Those 2 guys probably won't show mercy to us. Be careful. If you feel that you can't win, immediately admit defeat. Saving your lives is more important. Ling Xiao said, I'll take care of those 2. Don't take everything on yourself. Although we might not be able to deal with Lin Chuang, I don't care about Fengjian Mountain. Jian Luoying smiled. That's true. Even Lin Chuang might not be able to win against you, senior sister Luoying. However, you should at least give me a chance. Ling Xiao said, they've already bullied me so much. If I don't take care of them, it won't make sense. All right, we might not meet. Let's draw lots first. After drawing lots, Ling Xiao and Jian Luoying didn't meet Lin Chuang or Fengjian Mountain. Ling Xiao's opponent was Yun Ling from the Sky Demon residence. Jian Luoying's opponent was an unknown disciple. He should be a disciple from the 4th Demon General's residence. However, 2 of his senior brothers were unlucky to have drawn Fengjian Mountain and Lin Chuang. The other 2 were also unlucky to have drawn Xuet Yi and Wu Qing. As for the other senior brothers, their opponents were either very weak or on par with them. It all depended on the opportunity. You don't have to worry too much. Even if you are eliminated, we will continue to win glory for the Wine Demon Manor. Ling Xiao comforted the 4 senior brothers who had drawn powerful opponents. We know. After drawing lots, everyone went backstage to rest. Half an hour later, the second stage would begin. The audience also got a chance to rest. Some of them discussed martial arts in private, while others talked about the previous battles. As for the contestants, they began absorbing the demonic dragon's energy. Generally speaking, it was almost impossible for an ordinary warrior to completely absorb the demonic dragon's energy within half an hour. Therefore, the rest of the people in the Wine Demon residence were preparing to go back and slowly absorb it. Otherwise, it would be a waste. Ling Xiao was different. Since he had obtained the demon dragon's energy, he would naturally choose to absorb it. However, what surprised him was that for others, a situation where one demonic dragon's energy could allow them to break through a small realm did not occur to him. He had completely converted the energy of a devil dragon but it had only increased his cultivation C's energy by 10%. Here, Jian Luoying saw Ling Xiao's situation at a glance. Ling Xiao could challenge those of a higher realm, which meant that he was much stronger than others in the same realm. One demonic dragon's energy was definitely not enough. Therefore, she had been prepared. Little junior brother, when you were cultivating just now, senior sister told us about the situation. If one demonic dragon's energy can't help you break through, then 10 demonic dragons should do the trick. After discussing it, we are all willing to give you the demonic dragon's energy. The other 8 senior brothers had the same idea. In that instant, Ling Xiao knew that he had chosen the right place. He had made the right choice in joining the Wine Demon Residence. If he had chosen to become a personal disciple of the Sky Demon Residence back then, he would not have been in this situation today. He did not refuse and took the 9 demonic dragons. Then he took out 9,000-year Lingji pills and gave them to Jian Luoying and the other 8 senior brothers. These 1,000-year Lingji pills are better for you than the demonic dragon's energy. However, it cannot be improved overnight like the demonic dragon's energy. It will strengthen your physical body for a long time. It will increase your cultivation speed. I'm giving it to you. Ling Xiao was a person who would repay the kindness of a drop of water with a gushing spring. If others were kind to him, he would treat them even better. 1,000-year Lingji pills, and you're giving away 9 of them at once. You're too generous. Even the young masters of the Demon Lord Residence would have a hard time getting their hands on such pills. Jian 18 stared at the pills in Ling Xiao's hand in shock. He was increasingly convinced that Ling Xiao was a mysterious kid. Master, I'm an apothecary. Alchemy is my forte. This is nothing. Ling Xiao gave out the pills. He didn't care if his senior sisters and senior brothers wanted to decline. He had already started cultivating. The 9 demonic dragons poured into his cultivation, C, at the same time. The demonic dragon's energy was the purest form of energy. It could be directly converted into internal energy, so there was no need to convert it into potential. For Ling Xiao, it was a very good thing. Half an hour passed quickly. Ling Xiao opened his eyes, and the corners of his mouth curled into a smile. You broke through, Jian 18 asked. Ling Xiao only smiled and did not answer. Let's go and watch the second round of the competition. This kid is still keeping us in suspense. Jian 18 was helpless, but he did not pursue the matter. After all, once the second round of the competition began, they would know whether Ling Xiao had broken through or not. Everyone returned to the spectators' stands. By now, the other members of the Demon Lord Residence had also arrived. Ling Xiao noticed that Sword-Seizing Mountain had broken through. Blood Robes had broken through as well, although Wu Qing and Lin Chuang did not break through. Their auras were clearly much stronger. They were all geniuses, so they must have used the demonic dragon's energy. Jian Luoying did not use the demonic dragon's energy, but she swallowed the 1,000-year Lingji pill. The 1,000-year Lingji pill's energy would remain dormant in the body and constantly release, so it could be consumed at any time. Ling Xiao would definitely not break through after eating the 1,000-year Lingji pill, but the 8 senior brothers of the Liquor Demon Residence had all broken through. The effect was even more outstanding than the demonic dragon's energy. Not only did they break through, but their bodies also became extremely strong, and the energy continued to be released from their bodies. Even if they did not cultivate, they could continue to increase the energy in their cultivation C. We've struck it rich. Jian Luoying could also feel the energy in her body rising, and she could not help but feel excited. Exchanging the demonic dragon's energy for the 1,000-year Lingji pill was simply the best deal. We can only say that we each took what we needed. Ling Xiao smiled. Clearly, the demonic dragon's energy was more suitable for him. All right, since everyone is here, let's begin the first round of the competition. The two who drew number 1, please enter the stage, Lan Hai said loudly. Junior brother, junior sister Luoying, I'm going. The eldest senior brother of the liquor demon residence walked out. He had drawn number 1, and his opponent was Lin Chuang, the strongest opponent. Chapter 3042. It was impossible to change the number because the number had been registered on the number plate. The number plate would only be revealed before the start of each battle. Only then would people know who was fighting whom. If the person who went up was different, he would be eliminated. Therefore, even if Ling Xiao wanted to help the eldest senior brother, he couldn't. Trash, get out of here. I'll give you 3 breaths of time. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. Lin Chuang was very arrogant in front of the eldest senior brother of the wine demon residence. His strength had increased again, and he had reached the peak of the 16th level of hell of the Yin-Yang realm. He was only 1 step away from the 17th level of hell. How could he not be arrogant? I'm sorry. Although I'm not as good as you, I won't get out of here. Don't talk nonsense. Let's fight. The eldest senior brother of the wine demon residence had been sullen for many years. This time he finally had the chance to fight with all his strength. How could he give up so easily? You want to do this the hard way? Get out of here. Lin Chuang wanted to save his strength for the next battle, but his opponent didn't know what to do. Therefore, he was furious and didn't show any mercy. His strong body flashed and pounced on the eldest senior brother of the wine demon residence like a ferocious bear. It's over. How can the trash of the wine demon residence be a match for the first senior brother of the sky demon residence? This was the opinion of almost everyone except the wine demon residence. Boom! After a loud noise, the smoke dissipated. Lin Chuang looked at the eldest senior brother of the wine demon residence in shock. The eldest senior brother didn't retreat at all. Only a trace of blood flowed out of the corner of his mouth, but it didn't look serious. What? Everyone was dumbfounded. When did the people of the wine demon residence become so powerful? This was simply impossible. How could this be? Lin Chuang was also stunned. As far as he was concerned, there was no one in the wine demon manor who was a match for him. But now a random person had actually managed to block his attack. However, he felt relieved after a while. I was wrong to be able to block my attack, but the next one won't be so easy. Roar! A roar came from behind Lin Chuang. An ancient Tyrannosaurus Rex appeared behind Lin Chuang. This was his martial soul. Although it couldn't be compared to the immemorial martial souls, the potential of the ancient Tyrannosaurus Rex was just as great. Are you the only one with a martial spirit? The Wine Demon Palace's eldest senior brother didn't back down. A similar roar rang out. The phantom of an ancient, saber-toothed tiger appeared behind him. It was also an ancient, demonic, beast martial soul. Tyrannosaurus Rex versus Sabertooth. Many people didn't expect this. They thought that the first battle would end in an instant. Kill! The two of them shouted at the same time and rushed forward. Then an intense battle began. This battle made many people's eyeballs almost fall out of their sockets. Lin Chuang had thought that he would be able to easily defeat the Wine Demon Mansion's eldest senior brother. But in the end, both sides had fought for a full 15 minutes, and there was still no clear victor. Although the Wine Demon Palace's eldest senior brother was gradually falling into a disadvantageous position. However, to have been able to stay with Lin Chuang for such a long time, even if he lost, he was still proud of himself. The first battle was actually so brilliant that everyone was a little surprised. In the beginning, the Heavenly Demon Mansion's people shouted loudly and mocked the Wine Demon Mansion. However, as time passed, they all closed their mouths. The Wine Demon Mansion's eldest senior brother, whom they looked down on, was actually able to hold on for such a long time under Lin Chuang's attack. You're courting death. Lin Chuang was furious. His aura rose crazily, and it shook the entire arena. He was prepared to use all his strength. This strength was originally prepared for Xue Yi and Wu Qing. However, he was going to use it in the hands of a person he looked down on. I admit defeat. When the Wine Demon Mansion's eldest senior brother saw the situation, he straightforwardly admitted defeat. Then he turned around and walked out of the arena. Do you think I let you leave so easily? Go to hell. Lin Chuang was so angry that his face was malevolent. He had used all his strength with great difficulty, and he was exhausted. However, his opponent actually admitted defeat. This was simply like punching cotton. That feeling was so depressing that he wanted to die. He pounced on the Wine Demon Mansion's eldest senior brother, trying to kill him before he left the arena. Because before he left the arena, even if he admitted defeat, the rules allowed him to continue. Therefore, Lan Hai did not stop him. However, the Wine Demon Mansion's eldest senior brother had already expected this. The place where he admitted defeat was already the edge of the arena. He only needed to take one step to reach the outside. If Lin Chuang continued to attack at this time, it would be against the rules and he would be eliminated. He had no choice but to stop and roar angrily. Young Master Di Mei-chin, this rule is unfair. How can you admit defeat if you can't win? What's the point of fighting? The Heavenly Demon General was also unhappy for Lin Chuang. Heavenly Demon General, you can't say that. Do you want our Demon Dragon Sword Court's disciples to fight to the death? Whether it's Lin Chuang or that person, they're both outstanding disciples. In the end, Lin Chuang is still not strong enough. Otherwise, he wouldn't have the chance to escape or admit defeat. Lan Di Mei-chin's words were quite profound. She seemed to be saying that if you have the ability to keep your opponent in the arena, then you can do whatever you want. However, if your opponent leaves the arena, then you can't continue to attack. Although the Heavenly Demon General and Lin Chuang were very sullen, there was nothing they could do. This battle could only end like this. Lin Chuang advances to the top 10. Next, number 2 contestants. This time, one of them was Xue Yi, and the other was still a disciple of the Wine Demon Palace. The drawing of lots was very subtle. The 10 people of the Wine Demon Palace would fight against the other 10 people. There was no internal strife at all. Although the eldest senior brother of the Wine Demon Palace lost, his performance was not bad. He forced Lin Chuang to use all his strength before admitting defeat. Have we underestimated the Wine Demon Palace? Let's wait and see. After all, that's the eldest senior brother. In the midst of the discussion, the second battle began. This time, the 4th senior brother of the Wine Demon Palace and Xue Yi continued to fight for nearly 15 minutes. In the end, Xue Yi was so angry that he directly used the terrifying power of the Blood Clan Martial Soul. He wanted to trap the 4th senior brother of the Wine Demon Palace, but in the end his opponent escaped. Even if he couldn't defeat his opponent, he could escape unscathed. This was the terrifying part of the Wine Demon Palace's disciples. After this battle, the Wine Demon Palace was completely famous and became the focus of everyone's attention. No one dared to look down on them anymore. Xue Yi advances. Next match. Lan Hai's voice sounded. The 2 of them jumped into the arena. One was Feng Jianshan, and the other was the 2nd senior brother of the Wine Demon Palace. I heard that you want to kill our youngest junior brother. After the 2nd senior brother of the Wine Demon Palace went into the arena, he looked at Feng Jianshan with a smile and asked, So what? Do you want to die for him? Feng Jianshan sneered. Ha! Our youngest junior brother is 10 times stronger than me. If you can't even defeat me, how can you kill him? Chapter 3043. Bulsh *T. Take this. Feng Jianshan thought that he could compete with Xue Yi and Lin Chuang, since he had reached the peak of level 16 of Hell. But in reality, he had overestimated himself. The battle lasted for half an hour. In the end, Lan Hai had no choice but to stop the battle and let the judge decide the winner. After the 9 demon kings had a discussion, they declared Feng Jianshan the winner. The reason was that Feng Jianshan had hit second senior brother more times. But the people of the wine demon residence were not convinced by this reason. Ling Xiao was about to refute when second senior brother stopped him. Forget it. There's no need to make an enemy out of the demon kings. But second senior brother, you'll definitely win after 300 moves. That guy can't compare to you in terms of experience or skills. With Ling Xiao's eyesight, he naturally saw through all of this. It's okay. When you meet him later, teach him a lesson for me. Second senior brother smiled. Okay. Ling Xiao took a deep breath and calmed the displeasure in his heart. He could see that although the 9 demon kings said that it was fair, it was only fair among the 13 demon generals. It was not fair to the people of the wine demon residence. However, this kind of unfairness was only ambiguous. They didn't dare to be so obvious. Otherwise, the 18th sword was not to be trifled with. Thinking of this, he felt relieved. Hee, you dare to object to the demon king's judgment? You're overestimating yourself. Feng Jianshan deliberately mocked Ling Xiao when he walked down from the arena. He helped you this time. The next time he meets me, it won't be so easy. Ling Xiao sneered and stepped into the arena. He was number 4. Yunling was also number 4. This battle was between him and Yunling. Look, it's that black horse. His cultivation is similar to Yunling's. I wonder if he can make it to the next round. However, as soon as they finished speaking, Yunling took the initiative to admit defeat. She did not even enter the arena. Yunling felt helpless about such a choice. Back in the Sky Devil residence, Ling Xiao's cultivation was far inferior to hers. She was already at the early stage of the 16th level of hell, while Ling Xiao was only at the middle stage of the 15th level of hell. But now, the battle prowess that Ling Xiao displayed had completely frightened her. She didn't even have the courage to challenge him. She still remembered Fang Feiyun's death very clearly. She didn't want to die in the hands of Ling Xiao. F***CK, what is that Yunling doing? We can't see Ling Xiao's true strength again. That's right. You're surrendering without fighting? This Ling Xiao is really lucky. There was definitely more than one person who thought that Ling Xiao was lucky. Yunling, you've really disappointed me. The heavenly demon general looked at Yunling, his face extremely gloomy. In his opinion, even if Yunling was going to lose, she should force Ling Xiao to show his true strength and give Lin Chuang a reference. However, Yunling didn't even have the courage to step into the arena. Heavenly Demon General, she made the right choice. Compared to Yunling, you're still as blind as ever. Ling Xiao looked at the Heavenly Demon General and mocked him. What did you say? The Heavenly Demon General stood up with a murderous look. Haha, why are you so angry? Is it wrong to say that you're blind? Who was the one who abandoned me like trash? Ling Xiao mocked him. What are you so happy about? You just entered the top 10. Do you think you're a match for Lin Chuang? Luck can only represent a moment, not a lifetime. The Heavenly Demon General said coldly. You're right. Lin Chuang and Feng Jianshan are too lucky to have avoided me. Otherwise, they wouldn't even be in the top 10. Ling Xiao smiled and walked down the arena. He was very satisfied to be able to advance easily. After all, Yunling was not worth mentioning in his eyes. No matter what, people no longer dared to look down on the strength of the Wine Demon residents. For people entered the arena, and 2 of them fought with the strongest disciple. They fought for a long time and forced the opponent to use his full strength. The second senior brother of the Wine Demon residents fought Feng Jianshan to a draw. In the end, Feng Jianshan barely advanced because of the judge's decision. Ling Xiao was even more generous, scaring Yunling so much that she didn't dare to enter the arena. Number 5 was the 8th senior brother of the Wine Demon residents. His opponent was Wu Qing, and he didn't disappoint the crowd. Although he lost in the end, he lost bravely. He fought with Wu Qing for almost half an hour before the outcome was decided. Wu Qing only won with a small move. The Wine Demon residence has been at the bottom for so many years. How come they're so valiant this time? What valiant? To put it bluntly, only Ling Xiao advanced. No matter how good the others were, they were still eliminated. You're not being honest. They were eliminated because their opponents were too strong. Let's continue watching. Just as this person said, the following battles were basically the performance of the Wine Demon residents. Jian Luoying defeated her opponent in one move and easily advanced. Third senior brother was the same. Fourth senior brother defeated his opponent in 3 moves. Fifth senior brother defeated his opponent in 10 moves. Sixth senior brother defeated his opponent in 15 minutes. Of the 10 people from the Wine Demon residence, 6 had advanced. As for the remaining demon residences, only the Heaven, Earth, and Mortal demon residences were left, as well as Qinluo from the 13 demon residences. This kind of situation was simply beyond everyone's expectations. The Wine Demon residence, which had always been at the bottom in the past, actually had 6 people advance. Moreover, the advantage of advancing was very great, and they hadn't revealed their full strength. It was impossible for Sword 18 to not be happy. According to his original thinking, it was already very good for the Wine Demon residents to have Ling Xiao and Jian Luoying enter the top 10. However, now it seemed that the situation was much more optimistic than he had expected. The Celestial Demon General and 13 Demon General Qinluo's noses were already crooked from anger. They were still cutting and mocking the Wine Demon residents before, but in the end, their results were much better than theirs. This slap was ruthless enough. In this way, even if Ling Xiao and the others were all eliminated, the Wine Demon residents would at least be ranked 5th, and they wouldn't be at the bottom. But then again, as long as the Wine Demon residents couldn't get 1st place, even if they got 2nd place, it was meaningless. Because if they couldn't get the Black Tortoiseel, the Wine Demon residents wouldn't be able to obtain true freedom. Sword Sealing Mountain. Looks like we have to be ruthless. The Wine Demon residence's people are too arrogant. No matter which one of us meets the Wine Demon residence's people, we'll beat them to death. Lin Chuang saw the Wine Demon residence's audience cheering unceasingly and was immediately furious. Begin a new round of drawing lots. Lan Hai also glanced at the 6 people from the Wine Demon residence, intentionally or otherwise. They really hid their strength well. Among these 6 people, at least 2 of them would enter the top 5. He thought in his heart that the drawing of lots had already ended. This time, Ling Xiao drew number 5. In other words, he would be the last to go on stage. However, it was still unclear who his opponent would be. Chapter 3044. After a 10-minute break, Lan Hai announced the start of the 2nd round. The 2 who drew number 1, please go on stage. Junior brother, I'll be going up first. Jian Luoying had drawn number 1. However, he didn't know who her opponent would be. Ling Xiao hoped that it wouldn't be Lin Chuang. As long as it wasn't Lin Chuang, anyone else would be fine. Ha ha ha, Miss Luoying, I'm sorry, but your opponent is me. Feng Jianshan laughed maniacally. Although he didn't meet Ling Xiao, it felt good to toy with Jian Luoying and defeat her. Jian Luoying was the daughter of Sword 18. If he could teach her a lesson, the people of Wine Demon residence would be devastated. Are you happy? Don't you think you're unlucky? Jian Luoying didn't say much, but Ling Xiao wouldn't let Feng Jianshan off. He felt that this guy was extremely stupid. Among everyone, Jian Luoying was probably the only one afraid of him and Lin Chuang. She wasn't even afraid of blood robes. He really didn't know what this idiot Feng Jianshan was so happy about. Was he happy that he was about to be eliminated? Unlucky? Ling Xiao, oh Ling Xiao, you're all talk. I heard you have a good relationship with Jian Luoying, although I don't know if it's because Wine Demon General wants to marry her to you. But a gentleman is a gentleman. but a fair lady is a gentleman's mate. You must like this woman very much. What do you think will happen if I disfigure her?" Feng Jianshan ignored Jian Luoying and looked at Ling Xiao. He didn't notice Jian Luoying's cold gaze. Feng Jianshan was finished if he dared to say such words in front of Jian Luoying. Ling Xiao shook his head and sighed. "What do you mean by the evils you bring upon yourself? Brother, you're on your own now." Feng Jianshan didn't know what a stupid thing he had done. He looked at Jian Luoying and said with a smile, "Miss Luoying, if you don't want to be disfigured, admit defeat and agree to one of my requests." "Oh, what request?" Jian Luoying asked with a half-smile. "It's very simple. Marry me and be my concubine." Feng Jianshan smiled. This was an absolute humiliation. It was a direct humiliation. Feng Jianshan didn't have a wife, but he wanted Jian Luoying to be his concubine. Clearly, Jian Luoying wasn't worthy of being his wife. If it were anyone else, they would probably be livid with rage. However, Jian Luoying was not angry. In her eyes, Sword Ceiling Mountain was already a dead man. There was no need to be angry with a dead person. "Ha ha ha, I say, Wine Devil General, why don't you and Qin Luo settle the marriage between Sword Ceiling Mountain and Jian Luoying? I think they're a perfect match." The Heavenly Demon General looked at 18th Sword and laughed. These words were naturally aimed at the 18th Sword. My daughter will not marry a dead man as her husband," Sword 18 said with a faint smile. He knew his daughters temper the best. Feng Jianshan's words were pure suicide. It was impossible for Jian Luoying not to kill him. The Heavenly Demon General sneered. "General Wine Demon, you're old and your eyes are blurry. Don't you know how strong your daughter is? Not to mention killing Sword Ceiling Mountain. I think even staying alive will be a problem. I'm old. But in terms of eyesight, I'm much better than a blind man like you. Otherwise, Ling Xiao wouldn't have joined my Wine Demon residence." Sword 18 mocked. "I won't argue with you. You'll know when the results are out." The Heavenly Demon General couldn't argue with the Wine Demon General. He had indeed misjudged Ling Xiao. There was nothing he could do if the other party used this weakness to target him. "Yes, you'll know when the results are out." Sword 18 couldn't be bothered to continue the nonsense and said coldly, "On the stage." Jian Luoying had already drawn her sword and pointed it at Feng Jianshan. "Admit defeat and kneel down to apologize. Perhaps I can spare your life." "Bullshit. How could I lose to a woman like you?" Feng Jianshan naturally wouldn't admit defeat. He didn't think he was weaker than Jian Luoying. "Kill." Feng Jianshan took the initiative to attack. "Bitch who refuses a toast only to drink a forfeit. I'll show you what fear is." A huge sword appeared in his hand. Behind him was a towering mountain. The mountain martial soul combined with the huge sword made the power of the sword terrifying. A terrifying power came crashing down like it could split the sky and cover the earth. The ground where Jian Luoying stood was shaking violently. Even with the support of the formation, cracks had already appeared in the ground. Feng Jianshan didn't show any mercy when he attacked. Since Jian Luoying wouldn't go along with his wishes, he could only destroy her. "How dare you kill this, and that with this little ability? Is there something wrong with your brain?" Jian Luoying raised her sword contemptuously. "Gravitational sword, negative gravity." Her sword came into contact with Feng Jianshan's sword. Feng Jianshan's sword was powerful. If Jian Luoying hadn't reacted properly, she wouldn't have been able to block it. But now, Feng Jianshan was like a mountain that had turned into a balloon. With just a light touch from Jian Luoying, he was sent flying dozens of meters away. Gravitational sword, 1,000 times gravity. Jian Luoying had no intention of letting Feng Jianshan go so easily. She took advantage of Feng Jianshan's falling body to use her best move. "Oh no, I admit defeat." Feng Jianshan sensed that something was wrong. Jian Luoying was too strong. He couldn't fight back at all. He wanted to admit defeat. However, it was useless to just admit defeat. They had to escape from the arena. But under the 1,000 times gravity, he couldn't even control his own body. How could he escape? Demon General, save me. Feng Jianshan couldn't save himself, so he could only ask Chen Luo for help. When Chen Luo heard the cry for help, he immediately stood up and rushed into the arena. If this continued, Feng Jianshan would be eliminated anyway. He didn't care if he broke the rules. The punishment for breaking the rules was too small. At most, he would be kicked out of the competition. Demon General, where are you going? Ling Xiao blocked Chen Luo's path with a cold expression. Get lost! Chen Luo was extremely anxious at this time. He directly threw out a punch, blasting towards Ling Xiao. Because it was a hurried punch, it wasn't very powerful. His goal was to force Ling Xiao back and then save Feng Jianshan. Imperial Celestial Dragon Form. Ultimate Heavenly Rat Beast Soul Transformation. Facing the powerful Chen Luo, Ling Xiao naturally wouldn't be careless. He instantly transformed and attached himself to the Imperial Celestial Dragon Form. Then he punched out with both fists. Boom! After a loud explosion, Chen Luo looked at Ling Xiao in shock. He hadn't even moved an inch. At the same time, Sword Ceiling Mountain's hysterical screams could be heard from the arena. It's too late! Chen Luo knew that it was too late for Ling Xiao to stop him. He looked at the arena. Feng Jianshan's body was completely embedded in the arena's tiles. There was no part of his body that was intact. Although he wasn't dead, he was basically crippled. Chapter 3045. Jian Luoying eliminated Feng Jianshan, and she won in one move. Ling Xiao blocked the enraged demon General Chen Luo, and he didn't look injured at all. What was wrong with this world? Was it all a dream? The audience couldn't comprehend the situation. The strange turn of events left them dumbfounded. Feng Jianshan, who they were expecting to be in the top 5, was defeated so easily, and he looked like he was on the verge of death. I'm going to kill you. Chen Luo checked Feng Jianshan's condition and was instantly enraged. He pounced on Jian Luoying and Ling Xiao, wanting to kill them both. However, with Jian 18 around, he couldn't do anything. Jian 18 didn't stand up. He just sat there and slapped the air. Demon General Chen Luo was sent flying like a kite with a broken string. He landed heavily on the arena. He was watched by tens of thousands of people. It was a disgrace. Life and death are normal in the arena. Feng Jianshan was seriously injured, but my daughter Luoying showed mercy. Don't you remember her kindness and go treat that trash? You're still here, causing trouble. Do you think I'm easy to bully just because I've swallowed my anger all these years? Jian 18's voice echoed throughout the arena. Only then did people remember how terrifying this demon general was. The demon general of 100 years ago was a very special existence. He was clearly stronger than the 3 demon generals of heaven, earth, and human. But he refused to be promoted to demon general. Even the demon lord couldn't restrain him. Although most people didn't see the battle between Jian 18 and the demon lord, there were still people who knew the result. The demon lord lost. Although he had only lost by 1.5 moves, a loss was a loss. Otherwise, he wouldn't have agreed to such conditions. They thought that Jian 18 wasn't as strong as he used to be after 100 years. But now they realized that this demon general might be even more terrifying than he was 100 years ago. Uncle Jian is right. In the arena, life and death don't matter. I'm sure all of you know this very well. Chen Luo, take Feng Jianshan to heal. Empress Lan Meiqin stood up and looked deeply at Jian 18. Then she said to Chen Luo, "This subordinate obeys." Chen Luo was already stunned by the 18th blade. He did not dare to offend Empress Lan Meiqin, so he could only send Feng Jianshan to the Demon Dragon Sword Court's apothecary department to heal. "All right, Let the competition continue. Seeing Chan Luo leave, Empress Lan waved her hand and gestured. Lan Hai nodded and said, "Two contestants, please come on." The ones who entered the stage were actually the Wine Demon Mansion's 4th senior brother and 7th senior brother. It couldn't be helped. 6 out of 10 people were from the Wine Demon Manor. It wasn't strange for them to run into each other. "I abstain." 7th senior brother directly forfeited. This was because he knew that he was no match for his 4th senior brother. In order to prevent his 4th senior brother from exhausting himself, this was the wisest choice. In this way, 2 people from the Wine Demon residence have already advanced to the top 5. This is really unexpected. That's right. Although the civil war in the Wine Demon residence will cause 1 person to withdraw, it is also certain that 1 person will advance. Our luck is pretty good. The Wine Demon residence had become the focus of everyone's attention. After all, from the beginning of the first round until now, everyone's performance was outstanding. This was something that no one in the audience had expected. Do you think someone else from the Wine Demon residence will advance? That's hard to say. The key is still to see who they're up against. Whether it's Lin Chuang, Shui Yi, or Wu Qing, they're not to be trifled with. If the remaining 3 from the Wine Demon residence go up against them, they'll definitely be eliminated. But if they fight against each other, at least 1 person will advance. I think so too. In the midst of the discussion, the identities of the 2 contestants were revealed. One was Lin Chuang, the other was the Wine Demon residence's 6th senior brother. I abstain. The 6th senior brother didn't go on stage because this was something that had been discussed. Jian Luoying had almost killed Feng Jianshan, so Lin Chuang would definitely be ruthless. He wouldn't give the 6th senior brother a chance to escape. Thus he chose to abstain. It was very wise. Coward! Lin Chuang couldn't achieve his goal. He could only curse fiercely and leave the stage helplessly. Then the identities of the 2 contestants were revealed. One was Shui, the other was the Wine Demon residence's 5th senior brother. The Wine Demon residence is unlucky. It seems that only 2 of the top 5 will advance. Yeah, it's over. Seeing this duel being revealed, the identity of the final duel had already been decided. It was Ling Xiao against Wu Qing. Wu Qing used to be the first on the Young Dragon Bounty list. Although he was defeated by Shui Yi, he was still very strong. He was definitely not someone that Ling Xiao could compete with. As for Shui Yi, the Wine Demon residence's 5th senior brother was no match for him. However, the 5th senior brother didn't abstain. Instead, he went on stage. Are you implying that I, Shui Yi, have no enmity with the Wine Demon residence, so I won't kill you? Shui Yi sneered and suddenly released his blood clan martial soul. He didn't give the 5th senior brother a chance to escape. A sea of blood enveloped the 5th senior brother. When he was thrown out, he was only skin and bones. Although he wasn't dead, he was on his last breath. There was no saving him. After Lan Hai announced the result, Ling Xiao immediately rushed onto the stage. He used his life reversal on the 5th senior brother. Of course, in order to hide the truth of the life reversal, he gave the 5th senior brother a pill. At that moment, the 5th senior brother, who was originally hopeless, suddenly became as lively as a dragon and a tiger, as if nothing had happened. I'm not dead. The 5th senior brother looked at everything in front of him in disbelief. It was junior brother who saved you. I don't know what pill he fed you, but it has such a miraculous effect. Jian Luoying also walked over and said with a smile. There were still traces of tears at the corner of her eyes. To be honest, at that moment, she also thought that her 5th senior brother couldn't make it. Even a god wouldn't be able to save him. However, Ling Xiao's pill was so miraculous. I came across this pill by chance when I was roaming the underworld. I only have one. 5th senior brother, you have to repay me well. His voice wasn't soft, so everyone in the spectators' stands could hear him. Of course, he did it on purpose. Idiot, you actually used such a good pill on someone else. If you kept it for yourself, wouldn't it be equivalent to having an extra life? The heavenly demon general said disdainfully, That's right. This Ling Xiao is really naive. The earth demon general said, I don't think so. Ling Xiao used the only pill on his senior brother. It's enough to show that he's a righteous and affectionate person. He's a good man. It's a pity that I was blind back then. I didn't choose him as my personal disciple and let the 18th sword take advantage of him. The person who spoke was the 4th demon general. Although he was a little unhappy that his people were all eliminated, he was very impressed by Ling Xiao's actions. Of course, he also regretted it. Chapter 3046. Shui. Ling Xiao stood up and looked at the red-robed young man. What's the matter? Shui asked coldly. I have another grudge against you. You killed my 5th senior brother. Are you prepared to be killed? Ling Xiao said coldly. Do I have a grudge against you? I don't remember. Shui shook his head and laughed contemptuously. But it doesn't matter. If you want revenge, come at me as long as you can kill me. Of course, that's impossible, because you can't even get past Wu Qing. He was defeated by someone with the same name as you. I'm afraid he hates you to the core. Ha. He laughed and walked out of the arena. Ling Xiao didn't say anything else. He let Jian Luoying and senior brother Wu leave the arena, then faced Wu Qing. Wu Qing entered the arena with an aggressive aura. You shouldn't be called that, he said coldly. Is that so? Ling Xiao didn't waste any time and suddenly released his sword essence. The terrifying slaughter sword essence rushed toward Wu Qing. In that instant, Wu Qing knelt down. He thought of the fear of Ming Cheng being defeated. You are. Wu Qing was very sure that Ling Xiao's terrifying sword essence was exactly the same as Ling Xiao's on the bounty list. Got it. Do you want to continue? Ling Xiao sneered. I spared your life last time. This time I won't be merciful. I admit defeat. Wu Qing felt miserable, but he didn't feel unconvinced. He felt that there was nothing wrong with admitting defeat when he met that person. In fact, he wanted to see who was stronger between Ling Xiao and Shui. He turned around and left the arena. Everyone was dumbfounded by this scene. That's it. Hey, what's the deal between Wu Qing and Ling Xiao? Why did he admit defeat? Think about it. Ling Xiao is too lucky. Yunling gave up in the first round. Wu Qing admitted defeat in the second round. In fact, he didn't even make a move. Yeah, this guy couldn't have bribed all his opponents, right? That's impossible. The draw is random. How would he know who his opponent is? Besides, I don't think Wu Qing is someone who can be bribed. Then tell me what happened. Actually, I don't know either. It's quite troublesome. Don't waste your time thinking about it. Anyway, there's still one last battle. We'll know soon enough whether we're a mule or a horse. After the initial anger and confusion, the audience gradually calmed down and looked at the arena. Wu Qing, you coward, why did you admit defeat? Blood Robes was very displeased. Since he had defeated Wu Qing, he naturally did not wish for Wu Qing to be too crippled. If that was the case, what was the point of defeating him? Coward? Wu Qing smiled and said, You're not his opponent either. Bullshit. Blood Robes was thoroughly enraged by Wu Qing's words. You coward. Just watch carefully from below the stage. Watch how I defeat this trash. Young master, should we investigate? Dragon Demon King asked Empress Lan Meichen. There's no need for that. Even if he really bribed others, he can't bribe Lin Chuang and Blood Robes. In this last battle, although the 3 from Wine Demon residents have advanced, if Ling Xiao doesn't have true strength, it's impossible for him to be Lin Chuang and Blood Robes' match. Empress Lan Meichen waved her hand and said, I'd like to see if he's just lucky, scheming, or true strength." As they spoke, the 10-minute break had passed. The last 5 martial artists stepped onto the arena once again. Lin Chuang, Blood Robes, Jian Luoying, Wine Demon Residence's 4th senior brother, Ling Xiao. I won't talk about the rules. Whoever stays until the end will be the winner. Lan Hai raised his hand and then put it down. "Begin the battle." Lin Chuang looked at Blood Robes and said, "Blood Robes, I'll deal with Ling Xiao. You take care of those 2 guys. After that, we'll decide the winner. How about that?" "No, let me deal with Ling Xiao." Wu Qing said, "He's stronger than me. I'd like to see if this kid is really that strong." Blood Robes shook his head and said, "You 2 don't need to talk nonsense. Come at me together. I'll fight the 2 of you alone." Ling Xiao stood up and said in a clear voice, "Arrogant." Lin Chuang and Blood Robes roared at the same time. Ling Xiao was indeed arrogant. He actually dared to face Lin Chuang and Blood Robes, 2 genius experts. Even the audience was shocked by his arrogant words. "I'm sorry, senior sister Luoying, 4th senior brother. You guys don't have to fight. I'll deal with the 2 of them. I didn't fight in the first 2 rounds. It's too boring." Ling Xiao wanted to fight the 2 of them by himself. Firstly, he was confident that he could defeat the 2 of them. Secondly, he could only feel the pressure when facing the 2 of them. Only then would he be able to unleash the potential in his body. Thirdly, he wanted to defeat the 2 of them in front of tens of thousands of people. While proving himself, he also wanted to remind everyone that Ling Xiao was not to be trifled with. "Be careful. We'll just watch from the side." Jian Luoying and the Wine Demon Residence's 4th senior brother nodded and retreated to the side. "Blood Robes, what do you think? Do you want to accept his suggestion?" Lin Chuang looked at Blood Robes and smiled. "There's no need to work together to kill him. He thinks too highly of himself. You just watch from the side. I'll kill him." Blood Robes did not want to team up with others to deal with Ling Xiao. It would be too embarrassing. Who was he? He was currently ranked 1st on the Young Dragon Bounty list. What about Ling Xiao? Although he had the same name as the person on the bounty list, he was not the same person. He was a completely unknown person. How could he be compared to him? "All right, I'll watch." Lin Chuang was eager to see such a thing happen. He would rest for a while and wait for Ling Xiao and Blood Robes to exhaust themselves. Only then would he be able to win easily. As for Jian Luoying and the Wine Demon Residence's 4th senior brother, he did not care about them at all. Kill. Blood Robes looked down on Ling Xiao. Therefore, he did not even use his martial soul at the beginning of the attack. He directly used his terrifying speed to charge at Ling Xiao. He wanted to kill Ling Xiao with a single strike. Fortunately, he could show off in front of his old rival Wu Qing. The audience watched the scene nervously. This strange, chaotic battle had turned into a one-on-one battle again. However, they were happy to see it happen. They had not seen Ling Xiao's strength before, so they wanted to see it with their own eyes. Scram! Ling Xiao did not use his beast soul transformation. He only used the Imperial Celestial Dragon body to protect himself and threw out a punch. Boom! There was an explosion in the void. Blood Robes was forced back 3 to 4 steps. I've said it before. The 2 of you better work together. Otherwise, you won't be a match for me. Ling Xiao looked at Blood Robes with contempt and said indifferently, "So strong. Is this the real Ling Xiao? It seems like we've underestimated him." Yeah, he actually forced Blood Robes back with 1 punch. Although Blood Robes did not use his martial soul, his strength is still very strong. This can only mean that Ling Xiao is stronger. This dark horse probably did not rely on luck to get into the top 5. Chapter 3047. How arrogant. Since you want to die, then I'll do my best. Shui was originally in a good mood after defeating Wu Qing, and he was also extremely proud. However, Ling Xiao poured a bucket of cold water on his proud mood, which made him very unhappy. Behind him, a blood-red shadow appeared, and terrifying energy was constantly accumulating. He glanced at Shui coldly. Ling Xiao's mouth curled into a mocking sneer. Immediately, black flames wrapped around his arm, and the flames became more and more vigorous. That arm of his was like a sharp blade, exuding an incomparably terrifying sword intent. It was hot and cold. It was contradictory and strange. It made people feel very uncomfortable. There was no need to use the demon dragon sword to deal with Shui. An arm condensed from inner strength was enough to take on the heavy responsibility. At this moment, his right arm was a sword, a peerless divine sword. Suddenly, he took a step forward, as if he was carrying the power of heaven and earth, and pressed toward Shui. This step crossed a distance of dozens of meters and instantly appeared in front of Shui. At this moment, Ling Xiao's entire body was bathed in black flames, as if a fire god had descended to the world. On his arm, the raging black flames had completely condensed into a sharp weapon. The fiery sword aura pierced through the void, and it forced the people in the audience to circulate their inner strength to resist. Wherever Ling Xiao passed, flames would linger around him. Unusual flame, sword technique, black flame sword. This was the second move of the unusual flame, sword technique, which was modified from the glacier rain sword technique. Its power was even more powerful than the fiery rain burst. It was also more suitable for close combat. From the moment Ling Xiao circulated his inner strength to the moment he launched the attack, it seemed like a long time had passed, but in reality it was only the blink of an eye. Shui did not expect Ling Xiao to take the initiative to attack, and this attack was actually so terrifying. In a hurry, he circulated his blood, kindred martial soul, and set up a blood curtain in front of him, trying to block Ling Xiao's black flame sword. It was not that he did not want to dodge. It was that he could not dodge. He, Shui, had just declared that he was much stronger than Ling Xiao. He was so arrogant. If he dodged now, would it not tell others that he was afraid? Moreover, he had no way of hiding. He couldn't avoid it. Ling Xiao's speed was in no way inferior to his. The result of dodging was very likely to be hit directly without any defense. Therefore, he could only take it head-on. In the past, the blood veil had blocked merciless peak attack. This was something that everyone present knew, and some had even witnessed with their own eyes. Therefore, they were not optimistic about Ling Xiao's attack this time. Although Ling Xiao's attack is powerful, it will most likely fail. That's right. Shui Yi's strength lies in his martial spirit. He can attack and defend, making it impossible for his enemies to guard against him. The heavenly demon general even gave Lin Chuang a look, indicating for him to prepare for a sneak attack. As long as Ling Xiao's attack failed, there would be a moment of emptiness in his internal energy, and his defense would return to zero. At that time, Lin Chuang's sneak attack was naturally twice the result with half the effort. Lin Chuang was a scoundrel and shameless person. Blood robes still cared about his reputation, but Lin Chuang would not. He was capable of doing anything despicable and shameless. Therefore, when he saw the look in the heavenly demon general's eyes, he nodded. He then began to circulate his internal energy, preparing for a sneak attack. At that moment, Ling Xiao's black flame sword pierced the blood veil. Boom! A terrifying aura raged throughout the entire arena. Balls of black flames soared into the sky and burned in the arena. At that moment, the arrogant blood robes actually retreated as if he had encountered something terrifying. At the same time, the black flames wrapped around his body like maggots, burning continuously. Blood sea, extinguish! Blood robes had no choice but to wrap his body with the blood sea as he retreated. Only then was he able to extinguish the black flames. Even so, blood robe's entire body was charred black, and there was even a scorched smell in the air. Lin Chuang did not launch a sneak attack. He had no way of launching a sneak attack. Ling Xiao had actually succeeded in repelling blood robes and shattering the blood veil. If he had chosen to launch a sneak attack at that time, he would have been wrapped in the black flames and swept in by the scattered energy. That would not have been worth it. Hee, you're so full of yourself. I thought you were very powerful, but I didn't expect that's all you've got. You dare to be arrogant with me with just that? Ling Xiao sneered and looked at Blood Robes contemptuously, looking rather disdainful. Blood Robe's expression instantly became extremely ugly. However, he was unable to refute Ling Xiao's words. Everyone looked at Ling Xiao, who was standing in the arena, bathed in black flames and golden light, in surprise. Ling Xiao was Ling Xiao. Everyone had mixed feelings in their hearts. What luck! That guy is completely terrifyingly powerful. That's right. He was able to repel Blood Robes with one punch and then kill him with one move. If he's not powerful, then it's **T. At first, many people thought that Ling Xiao was crazy for wanting to fight against Blood Robes and Lin Chuang by himself. However, at that moment, they changed their minds. Ling Xiao was far more powerful than they had imagined. Some people were anxious, some were excited, and some were cheering. In the spectator seats, there were all kinds of people. I admit that I've really underestimated you. With your strength, you're really qualified for me to take you seriously. If you were defeated by me in one move, that would be too boring. Blood Robe's expression gradually returned to normal. Otherwise, why would people say that shameless people are invincible? He was clearly being suppressed by Ling Xiao, but he could say that he was not taking him seriously. It was as if he took him seriously, Ling Xiao would be no match for him at all. You're still stubborn. Looks like you won't shed tears until you see the coffin. Ling Xiao sneered sarcastically. Blood Robe strength was not bad. After 2 exchanges, one should be able to feel his strength. He actually pretended to not care, as if that would not be embarrassing. His bluff was a success. The people who were originally worried about him actually became excited again. It was as if he really was not taking him seriously and was only playing with Ling Xiao. I'll warn you again. Join forces with Lin Chuang. You can't do it alone. Ling Xiao looked at Blood Robes and said coldly, I've only given you 2 moves. Do you really think that you're so powerful? Blood Robes laughed. Is that so? Then I'll show you something more fun. Ling Xiao finally took out the demon dragon sword. Behind him, a sword martial spirit wrapped in black flames appeared. His entire aura seemed to have changed at that moment. He was much more powerful and terrifying. Boom! The black flames on the demon dragon soared. The flames rose like a roaring demon dragon, devouring the heat between heaven and earth. Boundless blood sea. Blood Robes exclaimed in his heart when he saw the scene. He erupted with nearly 100% of his strength, and a terrifying blood sea flooded the arena. Chapter 3048. Even though the terrifying blood sea filled the entire arena, there was still an empty space beneath Ling Xiao's feet. The black flames continued to burn, and the blood sea could not advance at all. Everyone looked at this scene in surprise. The 2 of them were finally going to have the ultimate battle. Kill. Demonic Dragon Sword. Rain of Fire. The Rain of Fire released by the Demonic Dragon Sword, which was a fine Emperor artifact, was extremely beautiful. The Rain of Fire turned into countless black flames that transformed into black demonic dragons. Countless demonic dragons pounced at Shui. Shui's expression was extremely ugly. He could only desperately urge the blood sea to resist. It was as if he wanted to completely block Ling Xiao's sword, like how he dealt with Wu Qing. Boom! Boom! The fire dragons hit the blood sea, and the blood sea was instantly burned and evaporated. Then, countless fire dragons, crazily, hit the blood sea like a storm. They passed through the blood sea and hit Shui Yi's body. Bang, 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 bang. After a series of terrifying attacks, the blood sea that Shui was so proud of was beaten into a mess. On his body, there were countless charred holes that were pierced by the flaming sword aura. Some were charred and no blood could be seen, while some were still bleeding. These attacks were caused by Ling Xiao's sword aura after it was blocked by the blood sea. If it was not blocked, Shui would have been torn into pieces. This is your so-called full strength? Your so-called seriousness? In my opinion, your true strength is even weaker than Wu Qing. You're just a piece of trash that relies on your martial soul. Once your martial soul is broken, you're nothing. Ling Xiao stood in the air and looked coldly at the battered Shui with a sneer. He was not in a hurry to pursue. If he wanted to kill Shui, he could do it in one move. He was just humiliating him now. In fact, Shui had always wanted to kill him for the bounty. However, he did not take it seriously. That was because Shui did not cause any substantial damage to him. However, if he did not have the life backtrack ability, his fifth senior brother would have died at Shui's hands. He had to take revenge for this. Moreover, Shui kept belittling and ridiculing him, which made him very unhappy. If he didn't teach this bastard a lesson, how could he vent the anger in his heart? Looking at the two figures in the arena, the audience's feelings became even more complicated. Ling Xiao was almost untainted by a speck of dust. He arrogantly stood in the void with the demon dragon's sword in his hand, as if everything was beneath his notice. On the other hand, Blood Robes, the person who was favored the most, was in a sorry state at that moment. He did not have the strength to fight back at all. This was the complete opposite of what they had imagined. Ling Xiao didn't make a move in the first and second rounds, and many people began to look down on him. But once he made his move, the result was shocking. Thinking about it carefully, this kid had won 3 consecutive championships since the entrance exam, breaking all records. Then he joined the Heavenly Demon Mansion and killed the direct disciple, Fang Feiyun, as an ordinary disciple. And now in the arena, he beat Blood Robes to the point that he could not fight back at all. Almost every time this guy did something, he would surprise people. It was just that many people knew this, but were unwilling to admit it. They were afraid that if they admitted that Ling Xiao was too strong, it would slap them in the face and embarrass them. That's right, I rely on my martial soul. So what? My martial spirit is the most powerful. You dare to say that I'm trash? Then I'll let you see how trash kills you. Blood Robes was completely desperate. He used the move that he had planned to use to deal with Lin Chuang. Blood Demon Rebirth. With a roar, the blood-red shadow behind him merged with his body. Then, Blood Robes became taller and taller. After reaching a height of 3 to 4 meters, he stopped. He no longer looked like a human. It was as if he was a monster completely condensed from blood. He exuded an evil and crazy aura. This guy, fortunately, Ling Xiao forced him to use this move. Otherwise, I would have been defeated. Lin Chuang was shocked when he saw the Blood Demon Rebirth. However, he immediately rejoiced. It was a good time to observe the weakness of this move. He would have a way to deal with it later. Go to hell, Ling Xiao. A rough voice came from the Blood Demon's mouth. The Blood Demon waved his huge arm and slapped at Ling Xiao. The entire arena turned into a huge pool of blood. In the air, there were countless blood snakes flicking their tongues, waiting for Ling Xiao to show an opening. Then they would swarm him and bite him to death. Let's see how you dodge. Blood Robes roared. Countless blood snakes attacked at the same time, pouncing at Ling Xiao. Dodge? Do I need to dodge? Your ridiculous attack is like a baby's fist. Can it hurt me? Ling Xiao's voice came from the countless blood snakes. The next moment, he was crazily surrounded by the blood snakes. He was trapped by the sea of blood. Ha ha ha, you're dead. Blood Robes was excited when he saw the blood snakes trap Ling Xiao. After he entered the Blood Demon Rebirth state, the power of the sea of blood would increase greatly. Ling Xiao could pierce through the sea of blood before. But now he definitely could not. At this moment, Wu Qing clenched his fists tightly. Damn it, what level of battle is this? Blood Robes didn't even use his full strength when he fought with me. When the blood demon rebirth comes out, I can't resist at all. Damn it, how can he be so strong? Just as he was feeling depressed, a roar came from the arena. In the air, rays of golden light appeared one after another. Fire dragons broke through the sea of blood's encirclement. Ling Xiao stood in the air unscathed. His body was still wrapped in the golden light of the imperial celestial dragon body. That golden light was like a divine dragon. This kid's imperial celestial dragon body is too terrifying. The same body-tempering martial technique is dozens of times stronger in his hands. The Dragon Demon King stood up in shock. He couldn't help but be shocked. He didn't know about other things, but the strength of Ling Xiao's imperial celestial dragon body was too terrifying. It was only proficient in fire control, but its power was comparable to his imperial celestial dragon body at perfection. What kind of physique did this kid have? No, impossible. This must be a coincidence. How can you be so strong? Blood Robes was also shocked. The strengthened sea of blood still couldn't trap Ling Xiao. This was completely different from what he had imagined. Black Flame Sword, kill! The moment Ling Xiao broke free, he pointed the demon dragon's sword in his hand. A black sword aura broke through the air. It directly pierced through the huge blood demon's throat. Ah! A hysterical scream came from the blood demon's mouth. The blood demon twitched crazily in the arena as if it was in great pain. Is it over? Lin Chuang started to worry. He hadn't thought of how to deal with the blood demon rebirth, but Ling Xiao had already finished it off. How strong was this Ling Xiao? At this moment, all the disdain he had for Zhang Xian vanished. Chapter 3049. Amid the hysterical screams, the blood demon's body that had been pierced through started to reform again. Ling Xiao, you probably don't know what the blood demon's rebirth is. In this state, I'm immortal. You can't kill me. Shui sneered and said loudly, Is that so? Then I'll let you try something fun. Ling Xiao's lips curled into a disdainful sneer. In fact, he was the most fearless against an existence, like the blood demon. A second martial soul appeared behind him, the tyrannical blood demonic dragon martial soul. Tyrannical blood demonic dragon blood curse. With the activation of the demonic dragon blood curse, the blood demon's body started to bleed continuously. The blood demon's body seemed to be unable to stabilize. Impossible. What the hell is this? Shui was shocked. Nothing is impossible. Your so-called immortal body is nothing more than accumulating a large amount of blood to continuously repair the blood demon's body. But now, how are you going to repair it? Ling Xiao looked at Shui and sneered disdainfully. Your so-called strength. Your so-called pride. In the end, it's just the blood clan's martial soul. That's right, it's very powerful, but once it's restrained, you, blood robes, are nothing. Even Merciless can easily kill you. Ling Xiao said loudly. His words were not meant to hurt Shui. They were the truth. In his opinion, no matter what martial soul it was just a support. A martial artist's strength was the most fundamental. Even the powerful and almost invincible tyrannical martial soul was just a support in Ling Xiao's opinion. The primary and secondary roles could not be reversed. Otherwise, if one blindly relied on the martial soul, when the martial soul was restrained, it would be useless. These words even made many experts nod their heads secretly. There had always been a debate. Should one focus on the martial soul or the body? This debate was rampant. There had never been a conclusion. However, after countless battles, more and more martial artists gradually understood that the martial soul was just one of the abilities of a martial artist. It was no different from martial skills and secret techniques. Its function was to strengthen a warrior's strength, speed of cultivation, or to bestow a warrior with special abilities. Especially now, many scientists had already developed a method to strip off the martial soul and replace it. This caused the martial souls to switch more frequently. The importance of the main body was becoming increasingly prominent. Shui was indeed very powerful. However, thinking about it carefully, this fellow had only been relying on his blood clan martial soul. He had never seen him use any other abilities in battle. Now that his martial soul was broken, he was crippled. He couldn't even display a decent martial skill. You killed my 5th senior brother, and now you want to kill me. Then I can only give you a taste of your own medicine. I'll kill you. Ling Xiao coldly spat out. Everyone had to pay the price for what they had done. Naturally, Blood Robes was no exception. The demonic dragon blood curse was frantically extracting Shui Yi's blood. Blood Robe's current body was that of a blood demon. He was completely formed from blood, so he was most afraid of abilities like the demon dragon blood curse. However, to kill him, the demonic dragon blood curse alone was not enough. Ling Xiao still had something else up his sleeve. Bloodthirsty plague, I'll send you on your way. As his voice sounded, Blood Robe's expression changed drastically. If the demonic dragon blood curse was his nemesis, he had to desperately resist it to maintain his blood demon body. Then, the bloodthirsty plague would be a death sentence. At that moment, Blood Robes felt as if his blood was out of control, being invaded by the germs. Then it was frantically stripped away. I don't want to die. Lin Chuang, why aren't you doing anything? Blood Robes finally realized that with his strength alone, he was no match for Ling Xiao. At that moment, he thought of Lin Chuang. As long as Lin Chuang made a move, he would definitely be saved. Normally, Lin Chuang would not save Blood Robes. After all, he was a very strong competitor. However, he had no choice but to save him today. If Ling Xiao killed Blood Robes, he did not have much confidence in defeating Ling Xiao. The terrifying strength Ling Xiao had just displayed was truly shocking. In order to be able to kill Ling Xiao instantly, Lin Chuang directly used his beast soul transformation. It was as if a Tyrannosaurus Rex had descended from the sky, slamming down on Ling Xiao's head. How do you think Ling Xiao will deal with this? He won't be able to. He's probably done everything he can to defeat Blood Robes. With Lin Chuang on top, he'll definitely lose. That's right, unless Jian Luoying and the Wine Demon Residence's 4th senior help him. Even if he doesn't die this time, he'll have to give up on attacking Blood Robes. That should be the most reasonable judgment. No matter how strong Ling Xiao is, there's no way he can take on 2 people alone. Such discussions were actually what Jian Luoying and the Wine Demon Residence's 4th senior thought. When they saw Lin Chuang make a move, they wanted to stop him. However, they suddenly heard Ling Xiao's thunderous voice. Senior sisters, senior brothers, just watch. Ling Xiao was actually able to speak so calmly when he was fighting against 2 people by himself. This meant that he wasn't under any pressure at all. The people in the spectator stands also heard Ling Xiao's words. Some were puzzled, some were mocking, and some were disdainful. At this moment, everyone was staring at Ling Xiao. They wanted to see how Ling Xiao was going to deal with these 2 experts. If Jian Luoying and the Wine Demon Residence's 4th senior brother didn't help, they would lose this great advantage in an instant. Even Lan Di Meichin, who was originally not interested in this battle, was watching the battle with interest. She also wanted to know how Ling Xiao would deal with this situation. Heavenly Thunder Divine Guards. Ling Xiao responded. Dozens of Heavenly Thunder Divine Guards pounced on Lin Chuang at the same time. In fact, the current Heavenly Thunder Divine Guards were no longer able to display their former power due to the lower level of their martial arts. Each Heavenly Thunder Divine Guard was, at most, half as strong as Ling Xiao. Under Lin Chuang's attack, they couldn't withstand a single blow. However, Ling Xiao only needed them to block Lin Chuang for a moment. He didn't expect the Heavenly Thunder Divine Guards to be able to kill Lin Chuang. Therefore, a move like this was enough. So he still has this kind of move. It's a pity that the level of his martial arts is too low and can't be used. Dragon Demon King shook his head. You're wrong. This move is the most suitable for now. It consumes little and can achieve his goal. Empress Lan shook her head, but her eyes were still on the arena. Shui-Yi, you don't have a chance. I've warned you more than once that if you want to survive, you have to join forces with Lin Chuang. Unfortunately, you didn't listen. Now prepare to die. As Ling Xiao spoke, his figure flashed. The demon dragon sword in his hand shook and turned into an endless rain of fire. Everyone knew that Shui-Yi didn't have a chance. The moment the blood demon's body was destroyed by the bloodthirsty plague and the demon dragon blood curse, as long as the endless rain of fire hit him, he would be turned into a sieve. Chapter 3050. In the stands, the Earth Demon General looked at Empress Lan. Young master, I hope you can protect Shui-Yi. You said it yourself, he's a promising talent. Although Ling Xiao is stronger than him, our Demon Dragon Sword Court needs more experts. The Earth Demon General naturally did not want to see his disciple killed. That was why he pleaded with Empress Lan. Empress Lan sighed, then her figure flickered. She did not leave her seat, but a clone appeared in the arena. Demonic Dragon Incarnation. It's the middle-level general martial art, Demonic Dragon Incarnation. As expected of the young master, he has cultivated this martial art to perfection. That's terrifying. The Demon Kings, Demon Generals, and all the spectators saw the Demonic Dragon Incarnation in front of Shui-Yi. Although it looked like Empress Lan, it had the evil aura of a demonic dragon. Everyone stop! Empress Lan, Mei Chen blocked Ling Xiao's rain of fire with ease. With a wave of her hand, the fire rain sword Qi disappeared. Ling Xiao stopped attacking. Lin Chuang also stopped attacking after shattering the Heavenly Thunder Divine Guard. Shui-Yi had just recovered from the shock. Looking at Empress Lan, he breathed a sigh of relief. Finally, he did not have to die. Young master, isn't this inappropriate? Ling Xiao looked at Empress Lan and said lightly, the Black Tortoiseel contest is a rule set by the Demon Lord and the Demon Kings. It's inappropriate for you to barge in without permission. Presumptuous! How dare you speak to the young master like that? In the stands, the Heavenly Demon General roared. Shut up! This has nothing to do with you. Ling Xiao yelled at the Heavenly Demon General, then looked at Empress Lan. Although he was not as strong as her, he was not afraid. With the 18th blade, even if the Demon Lord personally attacked, he was not afraid. Moreover, he had many ways to save his life. Even if Empress Lan wanted to kill him, it would not be that easy. The Heavenly Demon General could not stand being yelled at by Ling Xiao. Just as he was about to say something, he was stopped by Empress Lan. Ling Xiao, I know you're not convinced, but don't worry, I'm only stopping you from killing him. Blood Robes has been eliminated. That should be fine, right? Lan Di Machen said. He knew that he was in the wrong, so his attitude was not that unreasonable. He believed that Ling Xiao would definitely be able to understand his difficulties and give him face if he treated him so courteously. But he was wrong. Who was Ling Xiao? Who wouldn't this guy dare to offend? He had even killed someone from the Eternal Palace. Why would he be afraid of him? Besides, Ling Xiao was in the right in this matter. Empress Lan Machen's sudden interruption was unacceptable. Young master, when my 5th senior brother was killed by him, I didn't see you make a move. But now, you want to help this trash. It doesn't make sense. As soon as Ling Xiao said this, not only did the people in the stands suck in a breath of cold air, even Empress Lan Machen's face darkened. That kid is looking for death. How dare he talk back to young Master Di Machen? Does he really think that he's invincible just because he defeated blood robes? In front of young Master D. Machin, he's nothing. That's right, that's arrogant. But I think what he said makes sense. Nonsense. In the mystic world, power is the law. Strength is the law. Empress Lan Machin took a deep breath. He decided to maintain his selfless appearance. That's different. Your fifth senior brother's talent and strength are average. I don't need to make a move. But Blood Robes is a genius. He'll be of great help to the future of the Demon Dragon Sword Court. Empress Lan Machin said slowly. In fact, he really wanted to kill this guy who dared to defy him. But as the young master, he endured it. Of course, the more important reason was that he felt the terrifying aura from Sword 18. If he attacked Ling Xiao, Sword 18 would definitely attack him. He was no match for Sword 18 now. If that's the case, then you don't need to save Blood Robes, other than his martial soul. He's not on the same level as my fifth senior brother. He's just a piece of trash. Are you really going to give up your dignity for him? Give up fairness? Give up the rules set by the Demon Lord? Ling Xiao said coldly. You don't have to use the Demon Lord to pressure me. Since the Demon Lord gave me full authority to handle the Black Tortoise Seal contest, then everything I do is reasonable. Empress Lan Machin was really angry. He felt that this Ling Xiao didn't know what was good for him. So you're going to protect that piece of trash? Ling Xiao asked. So what if I am? Could it be that you think you can kill him in front of me? Empress Lan Machin said coldly. What if I can? Will the young master forgive me for my disrespect? Ling Xiao laughed. Ha ha, forgive? Of course, no problem. If you can kill him in front of me, then your disrespect to me today will be written off. Empress Lan Machin felt that the young man in front of him was really arrogant. Who was he? Did this guy really think he could kill the person he wanted to protect in front of him? Thank you, young master. Ling Xiao's lips curled into a smug smile. Then he stretched out his right hand, attracting everyone's attention to his right hand. But in fact, what he really wanted to use was his foot. Earth Demon's secret technique, Earth Rending Body. This set of Earth Fiend's secret technique was something he had obtained by a stroke of luck. The good thing about this technique was that it had no grade. It would continue to increase in power as Ling Xiao's cultivation level increased. It would continue until he reached the 18th level of Hell in Yin Yang Realm. Now, the Earth Rending Body's power was no less than a beginner general level martial art. A terrifying explosion sounded behind the Demon Dragon avatar. At that moment, everyone's gaze shifted from Ling Xiao's right hand to where the explosion occurred, including Empress Lan Machin. There, Shui had been blown to pieces. Under the torture of the Demon Dragon Blood Curse and the Bloodthirsty Plague, Shui was already at his limit. In addition, this terrifying attack was no less than a beginner general level martial art. Naturally, he could not withstand it. His entire body was blown to pieces. It was a tragic sight. No. Seeing such a scene, Earth Demon General was the first to let out a sorrowful roar. His eyes were bloodshot, and he was so furious that he seemed to have gone mad. I'm going to kill you. Kill you. Damn brat. Earth Demon General continued to release his terrifying aura, scaring the surrounding Earth Demon Mansion disciples into running to the side. This murderous aura was too terrifying. They had never realized that their master could be so terrifying. Young master, it's time for you to fulfill your promise. Ling Xiao chuckled and looked at Empress Lan Machin, who was on the spectator stand. He knew that Empress Lan Machin was about to explode in anger, but so what? If he admitted defeat and let Shui go, he would die of frustration. Moreover, he had seriously injured the Demon Lord's daughter, Lan Rua. There was no such thing as an impenetrable wall in this world. Sooner or later, he would become the Demon Lord's enemy. There was nothing to worry about breaking ties with Empress Lan Machin. He did not expect to cultivate in the demon Lord Mansion anyway. Chapter 3051. Of course, I'll fulfill my promise. Although Lan Di Mei Chin was infuriated, she looked calm on the surface. She glanced at Earth Demon General and said, "In the arena, life and death don't matter. Retreat." Although Earth Demon General was furious, under Empress Lan's cold stare, he felt as if he had fallen into an ice cellar. He was so scared that he did not dare to make a sound. Seeing that Earth Demon General was silent, Empress Lan looked at Ling Xiao again. "You're good. Very good." With that, the demonic dragon avatar flashed and disappeared from the arena. Others might not have noticed, but Ling Xiao did. Before Empress Lan's demonic dragon avatar left, she gave Lin Chuang something. It looked like a pill. Ling Xiao immediately guessed the possibility. Lin Chuang's cultivation had reached the peak of the 16th level of Hell of the Yin-Yang first transformation. As long as there was some external stimulation, he would break through. Although the breakthrough from the stimulation of pills was not that stable, there was no doubt that it would greatly increase his combat strength. In the end, Ling Xiao had completely offended Empress Lan. Empress Lan could not do it herself, so she used this method to let Lin Chuang kill Ling Xiao for her. Lin Chuang might not be Ling Xiao's opponent now, but once he broke through, it would be different. The moment Lin Chuang swallowed the pill, his aura suddenly skyrocketed. Above his head, the door to the 17th level of Hell opened. This breakthrough attracted everyone's attention. He broke through at such a crucial time. Ha 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 ha, Ling Xiao, let's see if you'll die. The Heavenly Demon General was ecstatic. Earth Demon General's anger also turned into ecstasy. He could not do anything, but as long as Lin Chuang could kill Ling Xiao, it would be enough. At this time, Qin Luo had also returned to the arena. Looking at his expression, Fengjian Mountain was probably hopeless, but at this moment, seeing Lin Chuang break through, his expression became happy again. "Oh no, master. Ling Xiao is in trouble." Wine Demon Mansion's second senior brother looked at Sword 18. Lin Chuang wasn't a match for Ling Xiao before, but now that he's broken through, not even Ling Xiao, Sakura, or fourth junior brother would be able to defeat him. Master is also puzzled. That Lin Chuang was clearly still some distance away from breaking through. How did he suddenly break through? Sword 18 frowned. "Ling Xiao," he said, "don't be careless. Join forces with Luo Ying and your fourth brother." "Don't worry, master." Although Ling Xiao was surprised to see Lin Chuang break through, he was overjoyed. He needed an opponent like this. Only an opponent like this could allow him to completely break through his shackles. He was already at the peak of the 16th level of Hell of the First Revolution Yin-Yang realm. If Lin Chuang was strong enough, he would definitely be able to fully stimulate the demonic dragon's power in his body. Coupled with the released potential, he would not be far from breaking through. Sword 18 stared blankly for a moment, then shook his head helplessly. Ling Xiao's temper was really stubborn. Forget it. Maybe he really has a way to deal with it. After some thought, Sword 18 said no more. In any case, if Ling Xiao's life was in danger, even if it meant breaking the rules, he would still save him. Ling Xiao couldn't die. It would be too much of a pity if such a genius died. I had just thought Ling Xiao had a chance of defeating Lin Chuang. Who would have thought Lin Chuang would break through so quickly? Yeah, the difference between the 17th layer and the 16th is like the difference between heaven and earth. Ling Xiao has no way of winning. He killed bloodstained robes, so Lin Chuang will definitely kill him. Lin Chuang's hatred for him isn't small. In the spectator stands, the sound of discussion rang out again. Originally, everyone thought that Ling Xiao would definitely win the championship. But Lin Chuang's breakthrough was the turning point of this showdown. "Kid, you're really unlucky. Lin Chuang revealed a sinister smile. To be honest, I'm really surprised that you could defeat bloodstained robes. I used to wonder if I was a match for you, but now everything has changed. From the moment I broke through, you're no longer a match for me. Don't worry, I won't underestimate you. I'll use all my strength to kill you. Take it as revenge for my junior brother Feng Feiyun and my friend Feng Jianshan. The moment he spoke, Lin Chuang entered the beast soul transformation state again. He was like a giant Tyrannosaurus Rex looking down at Ling Xiao, but he was more powerful than before. The combat power of the 17th layer of the Yin-Yang realm in the first turn of the Yin-Yang realm was indeed incomparable to that of the peak of the 16th layer. Interesting, really interesting. It seems that it won't be easy for me to get the black tortoise seal. Facing the transformed Lin Chuang, Ling Xiao didn't show any fear. Instead, his whole body was trembling with excitement. His body quickly entered the beast soul transformation state. 9-snake general beast soul transformation. The reason why he chose to use the 9-snake general beast soul transformation was, of course, to better use the poison of the 9-snake general beast soul transformation to weaken his opponent. Without knowing his opponent's combat power, he didn't want to go head-to-head with him. Relying on the 9-snake general to weaken his opponent and observe his opponent at the same time, it would be easier to formulate a battle strategy. Jian Luoying and the Wine Demon Residence's fourth senior brother didn't participate in the battle. Almost everyone knew that the battle between Ling Xiao and Lin Chuang should be the final battle of the Black Tortoise Seal contest. Whoever won would get the Black Tortoise Seal. Jian Luoying and the Wine Demon Residence's fourth senior brother couldn't pose a threat to them. These two were too strong. No one had expected that things would turn out like this. Almost everyone thought that the final battle would be between Lin Chuang and Shui. But Ling Xiao, the dark horse, had made it all the way to this point. He even killed Shui Yi and became the focus of everyone's attention. After completing the beast soul transformation, both of them exuded a terrifying demonic aura and bestial nature. The beast soul transformation not only brought an increase in strength, but also an increase in killing intent. Ling Xiao opened his Tai Chi eye to observe Lin Chuang. He came to a conclusion. Although Lin Chuang's cultivation was the same as Devil General Chen Luo's, there was still a difference in combat power. Lin Chuang had broken through with the stimulation of medicine, and he had just broken through. Devil General Chen Luo had broken through with his own ability and had been nearly a month. Therefore, Lin Chuang's combat power was definitely inferior to Devil General Chen Luo's. If Ling Xiao couldn't even defeat Lin Chuang, how could he deal with Devil General Chen Luo? Wouldn't that be a joke? Ling Xiao wasn't afraid of Lin Chuang because he had too many trump cards. The general-level martial arts, Mysterious Flame, Sword Technique, Golden Phoenix Transformation, Imperial Celestial Dragon Physique. There were also divine abilities, Earth Elemental Golden Light Technique, Bloodthirsty Plague, Bloody Rat Demon, and Life Backtrack. Of course, in order to save the fifth senior brother, he had used Life Backtrack. Only a little more than an hour had passed. There was still a lot of time before he could use it again, but it didn't affect anything. Chapter 3052. In addition to his general-grade martial techniques and other trump cards, Ling Xiao also had the Tyrant Sky Martial Soul, the Butterfly Lady, and the power of a Yuan Venerate. Of course, he didn't need these to deal with Lin Chuang. This was only the reason why he had the confidence to do so. The audience didn't know that Ling Xiao had so many trump cards. In their opinion, Ling Xiao had already displayed his full strength. The Imperial Celestial Dragon Body, the Beast Soul Transformation, and the Premium Emperor Weapon, the Demon Dragon Sword. He also had the Elementary General Grade Martial Technique, the Mysterious Flame, Sword Art. Ling Xiao couldn't possibly be hiding anything. Are you ready to die? After Lin Chuang finished his transformation, His terrifying aura had already reached its peak. He wanted to use the most gorgeous method and the most direct move to kill Ling Xiao in a single strike. Only then would he be able to display his strength. The last person who said that was Xue Yi. You saw what happened to him. Ling Xiao said nonchalantly. You have a death wish. Whoosh! In an instant, Lin Chuang suddenly launched an attack. Although the Tyrant Dragon Martial Soul's advantage wasn't speed, Lin Chuang had obviously cultivated some special movement technique that allowed him to move very quickly. In the blink of an eye, he was already in front of Ling Xiao. Then his sharp claws swiped at Ling Xiao's head. He was prepared to kill him in one strike. Your speed has indeed increased a lot because of your breakthrough in cultivation. However, you still can't compare to me. Earth Golden Light Technique. Ling Xiao executed his fastest mystique and appeared behind Lin Chuang. Then 9 snake heads popped out. 9 snake poison domain. In an instant, almost the entire arena was filled with all sorts of poisons. Only an empty space appeared where Jian Luoying and the Wine Demon Residence's 4th senior brother were. Ling Xiao's control of the 9 snake poison domain was really impressive and precise. It's useless. I am immune to all poisons when I am in my beast soul transformation. Lin Chuang roared angrily and turned back to attack Ling Xiao. However, it seemed like he wanted to show off his strength, so he deliberately didn't reveal all of his skills. Perhaps this movement technique had already been cultivated to the great accomplishment stage, but he had been using the small accomplishment stage to deal with Ling Xiao. He was still looking down on Ling Xiao. After all, Lin Chuang had become a little arrogant after his breakthrough. Although he said that he wouldn't underestimate Ling Xiao, he still didn't take Ling Xiao seriously in battle. Lin Chuang, oh Lin Chuang, you should know that you have to pay the price for underestimating me. Golden Phoenix Avatar. Suddenly, a golden light appeared behind Lin Chuang. It was as if a golden phoenix had descended upon the world. Then, Lin Chuang felt a dense killing intent coming from behind him. He was so frightened that he hurriedly activated his movement technique and increased it to the greater mastery stage to dodge. But even so, he was still hit in the ribs by Ling Xiao's golden phoenix incarnation, causing him to scream in pain. It's actually the golden phoenix incarnation. Empress Lan Meichen suddenly stood up. How does he know the unique skill of the golden phoenix, Sword Palace? Young master, could it be that the kid has cultivated the golden phoenix incarnation that corresponds to your demonic dragon incarnation? That's a mid-level, general-level martial art. How could this kid cultivate 3 different general-level martial arts at the same time in such a short time? Isn't his talent too abnormal? The Dragon Demon King was already surprised enough to know that Ling Xiao knew the Imperial Celestial Dragon form. Now that he saw Ling Xiao use the Golden Phoenix incarnation, he couldn't stay calm at all. Could he be a spy sent to our demonic dragon sword court by the Golden Phoenix Sword Palace? The Dragon Demon King asked. That can't be. If that's the case, this kid wouldn't have exposed the Golden Phoenix incarnation. Forget it. Let's not talk about it. Let's continue watching the battle. Although Empress Lan Meichen had a lot of doubts in her heart, she couldn't say anything at the moment. After the Black Tortoiseel battle was over, she would interrogate Ling Xiao properly. Roar! Lin Chuang let out the roar of a Tyrannosaurus Rex. It was earth-shattering. He was furious. He was actually injured by Ling Xiao. This was simply intolerable. I have a general-level martial art too. As he roared, his aura suddenly skyrocketed. General-level martial art. Tyrannosaurus Rex assemble. Following Lin Chuang's roar, Ling Xiao noticed that countless Tyrannosaurus Rex phantoms appeared in the arena. The entire arena was completely filled up. His attack was clearly a large-scale attack. In such a narrow space, even Jian Luoying and the Wine Demon Residence's 4th senior brother would be affected. Senior sister, senior brother, you can leave now. I'll take care of Lin Chuang. so it won't affect your ranking. Ling Xiao now had to face Lin Chuang with all his might. He had no time to protect Jian Luoying and the Wine Demon Residence's fourth senior brother, so it was best for them to leave the arena. The two of them hesitated for a moment before walking out of the arena one by one. They knew very well that even if they stayed here, they wouldn't be able to help Ling Xiao. Instead, they would become a burden to Ling Xiao. Without anything to worry about, Ling Xiao's confidence was boosted. Kill! At Lin Chuang's command, the seemingly endless Tyrannosaurus Rex rushed out. In the arena, smoke and dust rose, blocking everyone's vision. Many people couldn't even see Ling Xiao's shadow. He was completely drowned in the Tyrannosaurus Rex horde. Ha ha ha, now you know fear? Do you really think you're the only one who knows a general-level martial art? Not only does this move have a large attack range, but it's also not weak. Even if you don't die, you'll be seriously injured. Seeing Ling Xiao drown in the Tyrannosaurus Rex horde, Lin Chuang burst into laughter. Father, how is Ling Xiao? Jian Luoying asked Sword 18 worriedly. His aura is weakening. Sword 18 frowned. No, although he's strong, his cultivation is much weaker than Lin Chuang's. I have to go save him. Uncle Jian, you can't break the rules. Just as Sword 18 was about to make his move, Empress Lan Mei-Chin stepped forward. Then the other 13 demon generals all stepped forward, blocking Sword 18's path. They naturally felt Ling Xiao's aura weakening and knew that Ling Xiao was about to die. There was no way they would let Sword 18 intervene. Get out of my way. Sword 18 faced the 13 demon generals and Empress Lan Mei-Chin. He was still as domineering as ever. That won't do. Empress Lan Mei-Chin shook her head. You have to do it whether you want to or not. Sword 18 didn't waste any more words. He drew his sword and a ray of sword light shot out like a waterfall. It was just one move. Other than Empress Lan Mei-Chin, the other 13 demon generals were all sent flying. As for Empress Lan Mei-Chin, there was blood seeping out of the corner of her mouth. She was clearly injured, and her injuries weren't light. Uncle Jian, even if you kill me today, I won't back down. The rules are the rules. Empress Lan Mei-Chin said coldly. Rules? Do you really think I don't know anything? That Lin Chuang's sudden breakthrough, wasn't it because you gave him a pill? Although Sword 18 didn't see it, he could guess. Chapter 3053. I'm not going to waste my breath on you. Do you really think I won't dare to kill you? Sword 18 could feel that Ling Xiao's aura was still weakening. He could not waste any more time. As soon as he finished speaking, he suddenly made a move. Empress Lan was shocked. Sword 18's previous move was just to force them to retreat, but this move was really meant to kill him. Therefore, he could not block it at all. He had no choice but to dodge. Master, there's no need to be so nervous. At this moment, Ling Xiao's voice suddenly came from the arena. There was a hint of a smile in his relaxed tone. What? Everyone in the audience was stunned at this moment. They clearly felt that Ling Xiao's aura was getting weaker and weaker just now. How did it suddenly become so strong? Could it be that the situation just now was all an act? Just as they were extremely shocked, Ling Xiao's figure had already scurried out of the endless T-Rex shadows. His transformation had changed. It was no longer the nine-snake General Beast Soul transformation, but the strongest, unbounded, heavenly Rat Beast Soul transformation. The pair of black flesh wings on his back was so ferocious and terrifying. The moment he appeared, he was already less than 3 meters away from Lin Chuang. Do you really think that stupid move of yours can hurt me? Don't you know that the bigger the range of a move, the less damage it does to an individual? Ling Xiao looked at Lin Chuang with a hint of sarcasm. Of course, the reason he was able to escape was not just because of that. Lin Chuang's attack was still very powerful. He was indeed beaten up badly just now. However, the pain was accompanied by pleasure, because this move had greatly increased the energy in his cultivation C. The constantly surging Tyrant shadows had directly increased the energy in his cultivation C from 0 to 100%. This 100% energy in his cultivation C was the complete transformation of the demonic dragon's energy. It was the release and fusion of a large amount of potential. There was also the medicinal effect of 10 millennium Lingji pills. The three types of energy merged into one, creating an instant surge in his strength. 100% energy in his cultivation C could increase his combat strength by 10 times. On top of that, he also had the unbounded heavenly rat beast soul transformation, as well as the first level of the bloody rat devil beast soul transformation, which doubled his strength. As a result, even if Lin Chuang were to unleash his full power, he would still be fearless, let alone a group of tyrannosauruses. The reason why his aura was getting weaker and weaker was purely to numb Lin Chuang. In order to focus more on using this external force to stimulate his cultivation, he had put in a lot of effort. However, he didn't expect to trick Sword 18 as well. In order to save him, Sword 18 fought with Empress Lan Meichen. He couldn't help but feel a little touched. Walking the Jianghu, one might meet a lot of good people, but people like Sword 18 who would risk his life for you were few and far between. If he met such a person, he had to cherish him. He had to cherish him. Impossible. How could this be? How can you block my attack? This was already Lin Chuang's strongest attack. Although he had made a breakthrough in his cultivation, his martial skills were still stuck at the same level as before. Even his strongest attack couldn't kill Ling Xiao. His heart turned cold in that instant. He was completely flustered. At this time, Empress Lan Meichen was being watched by Sword 18, so it was impossible for her to help Lin Chuang. The people from Sky Demon Mansion, Earth Demon Mansion, and the 13 Demon Generals' manors were still cheering. They were now completely listless. On the other hand, the martial artists from Wine Demon Mansion, who were originally worried, let out excited cheers. If Lin Chuang's strongest attack couldn't finish off Ling Xiao, then Ling Xiao would definitely win. Die. Exotic Flame Sword Art's final move. Exotic Flame Sword Demon. Exotic Flame Sword Art had a total of 3 moves, and Ling Xiao had learned all of them. Even the third move, Exotic Flame Sword Demon, had been comprehended to the realm of great success. Its power was unparalleled. The demon dragon sword in his hand burned with blazing exotic flame. A sword demon pounced out of the sword and pounced on Lin Chuang. The whole place was dead silent. The Sky Demon General wanted to save Lin Chuang, but the hidden injury from Sword 18's attack just now made him unable to circulate his internal force. Sword 18 was too powerful. The 13 Demon Generals added together were not as terrifying as him. Everyone just looked on helplessly as Lin Chuang was cleaved into 2 by Ling Xiao's sword. Lin Chuang's body gradually returned to its original state, and all the T-Rex shadows disappeared, leaving behind a corpse burning with black flames. Senior Lan Hai, are you still not going to announce the result? Ling Xiao looked up at Lan Hai and asked. Oh. Lan Hai was still in a daze. He never expected such an outcome. Even though Lin Chuang had a breakthrough in his cultivation with Empress Lan Meichen's elixir, he was still defeated by Ling Xiao without any suspense. He was defeated so easily. Ling Xiao, this kid was a little too strong. This guy was not a genius, but a peerless genius. He was probably even more outstanding than his younger brother, Empress Lan Meichen. Final ranking. Ling Xiao first, Sword Sakura second, Lin Dong third. Lin Dong was the name of the Wine Demon Mansion's 4th senior. Since Lin Chuang was dead, the top 3 could only be the 3 of them. When the announcement was made, the whole place was still dead silent. Everyone stared at the green-robed youth in the arena. At this moment, Ling Xiao had already stopped his beast soul transformation and returned to his original state. His face was filled with a happy smile. Some people gnashed their teeth in hatred. Some people were proud of him. Some people were shocked by his performance. But without exception, everyone present knew that this young man had suddenly risen into the sky like a comet and appeared in front of everyone. From a nameless warrior of a small country, he had become a genius disciple of the Devil Dragon Sword Court. If he continued to be trained, he would definitely become more outstanding than Empress Lan Mei-Chin in the future. Many female martial artists had already turned into love-struck fools. Their eyes were filled with heart-shaped shapes. Looking at Ling Xiao, they were overflowing with love. Jian Luoying's beautiful eyes were also filled with happiness. That was her junior. She had also given great help to her junior in the process of his rise. So she was extremely proud. Another miracle was born. Another record was broken. When Empress Lan Mei-Chin stood out in the Black Tortoise contest, she was already 18 years old. Moreover, her cultivation had already reached the peak of the 17th level of hell. And today, Ling Xiao had won this battle at an even younger age and with an even lower cultivation. Empress Lan Mei-Chen's expression was ugly. He was not a narrow-minded person. But as the son of the Devil Lord, his record had been broken by a nameless kid time and time again. He did not feel good about it. What's more, Ling Xiao's previous rebuttal had put him in a bad mood. How could he bless Ling Xiao? But still applause rang out. Even if Empress Lan Mei-Chen was unwilling, many people were still full of expectations and admiration for such a young genius. Chapter 3054. If everything continued to develop quietly, Ling Xiao would really stay in the Demon Dragon Sword Court for a long time. Perhaps during this period, he would continue to make contributions to the Demon Dragon Sword Court. However, there were some things that would never develop according to Ling Xiao's wishes. After the Black Tortoise Seal battle ended, Empress Lan Mei-Chin presided over the awards. When only Ling Xiao was left, a terrifying aura appeared on the 5th floor of the 9-story Demon Tower. Everyone stopped what they were doing and looked at the owner of the terrifying aura. The Demon Lord has arrived. Empress Lan Mei-Chin was the first to recognize the familiar aura, so she hurriedly bowed and said loudly, "Welcome, Demon Lord." The others, except for Sword 18, all knelt down. Ling Xiao also politely knelt on one knee. No matter what, he was still a disciple of the Demon Dragon Sword Court. When he saw the Demon Lord, he naturally had to know etiquette. A woman. Seeing this Demon Lord, Ling Xiao was stunned. The Demon Lord was actually a woman. He always thought it was a man. A woman was actually so domineering that she could become the sect master of one of the 2 major sects of the Sword Dynasty. This was enough to show how terrifying her strength was. "Get up." The Demon Lord's face was calm. No one knew what she was thinking. Ling Xiao and the others stood up together. "You are Ling Xiao, right?" The Demon Lord came in front of Ling Xiao and asked with a smile. Others might not be able to judge the meaning of this smile, but Ling Xiao understood at that moment. This guy should be suspecting him, but there was no conclusive evidence. He smiled and cupped his hands, reporting to the Demon Lord, "This disciple is Ling Xiao." "Very good. Here are the rewards. Take them." The Demon Lord waved her hand, and the rewards for the champion flew to Ling Xiao. A black tortoise seal, 30,000 upper grade spirit stones. Ling Xiao didn't stand on ceremony and directly put it into the storage ring. Then he looked at the Demon Lord and said, "Thank you for the reward, Demon Lord. Aren't you going to tell me something?" The Devil Lord looked at Ling Xiao indifferently, completely unable to guess what she was thinking at this moment. Disciple does not understand what Devil Lord means. At this time, Ling Xiao naturally had to feign ignorance. If he could avoid confronting the Demon Lord head-on, that was naturally the best choice. After all, with his current cultivation, there was no way he could fight against them. He didn't want to cause trouble for the 18th sword. Demon Master Lon May released a terrifying aura. This aura made the surrounding martial artists all tremble with fear, kneeling down again one after another. Even Empress Lan Mei-chin could not withstand her mother's authority. But Ling Xiao stood there without moving. Perhaps it was because he possessed the tyrannical martial spirit. Or perhaps it was because he had even killed the experts of the Eternal Palace. This demon master Lan Mimi was no longer that scary in his eyes. This was the same principle as how one would not be easily shocked by a beautiful woman after seeing so many beautiful women. You still dare to feign ignorance in front of me. Do you really think I don't know what you've done? Lan Mei said coldly. The Ling Xiao on the bounty list is actually you, right? Do you think that others won't be able to find traces of you just because you've changed your appearance? You're too ostentatious. You killed the city lord of Ming City in Ming City, and even fought with Wu Qing and defeated him. You can hide other things, but that frivolous and arrogant aura, you can't hide it no matter what. My daughter Lan Rua was also harmed by you, right? Hearing the Devil Lord's words, everyone present was stunned, especially those who had experienced the great battle of Ming City. Only now did they realize. It turned out that the Ling Xiao with a bounty of 2 million mid-grade spirit stones on the bounty list was the Ling Xiao in front of them. This guy was too bold. He clearly had a bounty on him, but he still dared to come to the Demon Dragon Sword Court. Didn't he know that the Demon Dragon Sword Court had also joined the Heavenly Sword Hall? Hee. So just because you're frivolous, domineering, arrogant, and have the same name, you're the same person? If you want to condemn someone, you can always find a pretext. Ling Xiao sneered and refused to admit it. This kind of thing couldn't be admitted. Devil Lord Lan Mei only suspected that if he admitted it, it wouldn't just be admitting that he had dealt with Lan Rua. It would be very troublesome if he admitted that he was Ling Xiao on the bounty list. So he wouldn't admit it even if he was beaten to death. What a Ling Xiao! You're really bold. In front of me, you can still be so calm. Do you really think that the 18th sword can save you? 100 years ago, he might have been stronger than me. But 100 years have passed, and he's already very far from me. Devil Lord Lan Mei looked at Ling Xiao and didn't rush to make a move. Although her daughter Lan Rua didn't die, she could only live in a nutrient solution because she had lost her physical body. She also wanted to let Ling Xiao have a taste of the pain of losing his physical body. However, she was the Devil Lord of the Devil Dragon Sword Court after all. She still had to maintain her dignity. Even if it was just for show, she had to show that she was fair and just. She wanted Ling Xiao to admit his crime personally. Jian Luoying and the people of the Wine Demon residence were the most nervous at this time. If Ling Xiao was really the one who had seriously injured Lan Rua, and if he was really that Ling Xiao on the bounty list, then it would really be difficult to escape today. Father! Jian Luoying looked at the 18th sword and shouted nervously. Don't worry, my good daughter. When it's time to make a move, Father will naturally make a move. The 18th sword's expression was still calm, because he already knew about this. He knew that he still dared to leave Ling Xiao in the Wine Demon residence, because he had enough confidence to protect Ling Xiao. Compared to the people of the Wine Demon residence who were worried, the people of the Sky Demon residence, Earth Demon residence, and the 13 Demon Generals residence who hated Ling Xiao were all cheering in their hearts at this time. To them, this was great news. Ling Xiao had killed Lin Chuang, Xue Yi, Fang Feiyun, Lin Feiyang, and Lin Xian. He had also indirectly caused the death of Fengjian Mountain. As for Ling Xiao, the Sky Demon General, the Earth Demon General, and Qin Luo couldn't wait to tear him into pieces. Lan Rua was the Demon Lord's most beloved daughter, although her strength wasn't that great for the Demon Lord who was protective of his children. Just this point alone was enough to take Ling Xiao's life. Not to mention that Ling Xiao was a wanted criminal on the bounty list. The Devil Dragon Sword Court couldn't let him go. Please forgive this disciple, but I really don't understand what the Demon Lord means. Could it be that the Demon Lord of the Devil Dragon Sword Court wants to frame a disciple who just won the Black Tortoise Seal contest? I admit that I have offended many people, and they all want me dead. If the Demon Lord wants to kill me because of them, I have nothing to say. However, you can't just randomly accuse me of a crime. Otherwise, if word gets out, I will become the laughingstock of the world. You have a glib tongue, Lan Meima said coldly as she looked at Ling Xiao. Demon Lord, you flatter me. This disciple is just speaking the truth. Could it be that you hate me so much because I chose the Wine Demon residence and not the Demon Lord residence? Ling Xiao asked with a smile. His words had hit the nail on the head. Lan Rua wasn't dead, and Lan Meima wasn't obsessed with revenge. Chapter 3055. Under the Double Wrath. Demon Master Lan Mimi used Lan Rua's matter and the bounty list to pressure Ling Xiao. So much so that she couldn't even find any evidence. She thought that she could force Ling Xiao to admit to his crimes with her powerful aura and power. But she was wrong. Ling Xiao was more difficult to deal with than she thought. He was not afraid of her threats at all. This was not going to be easy. Mother, it's better to kill 10,000 by mistake than to let one go. At this time, Emperor Lan Meichen spoke. He was angered by Ling Xiao and wanted to find trouble with Ling Xiao. This opportunity came at the right time. If it's not convenient for you to do it, then let your son do it. Even if you kill the wrong person, your son will bear the infamy alone. His mother Lan Mimi was the demon master of the Demon Dragon Sword Court and needed a good reputation. But he did not need it. Demon Master, if we let this person go, he will definitely become a great threat to our Demon Dragon Sword Court. At this time, the Sky Demon General also stood out and said, although I hate him, I have to admit that this person's talent is amazing. If we keep him like this, it will definitely be like raising a tiger. In the future, he will definitely become a great enemy of the Demon Dragon Sword Court. Demon Master, let us deal with this dirty person. We have a good reason to kill him. At this time, the 13th demon, General Qinluo, also stood out. It was not easy for the Demon Master to do it. If Emperor Lan Meichen did it, it would inevitably affect the Demon Dragon Sword Court's reputation. But it didn't matter to him and the Sky Demon General because they were not surnamed Lan. All right, I'll give you 230 seconds to kill him. Demon Master Lan Meichen only wanted Ling Xiao dead. It didn't matter who did it. Moreover, she still needed to keep an eye on the 18th blade. Although she said that Sword 18 was no longer a match for her, she wasn't sure about the specifics of the situation. After all, she had never fought the 18th blade since 100 years ago. Thank you, Demon Master. Hearing Lan Meichen's answer, the Sky Demon General and Qinluo were extremely excited. Is there any problem with me joining in? The Earth Demon General also stepped forward. He also wanted Ling Xiao to die because Ling Xiao had killed Shui Yi, which made him very displeased. Moreover, now was the time to beat a drowning dog, so he naturally wanted to bask in the glory. Ling Xiao just stood there indifferently, looking at the 3 demon generals, the corners of his mouth curled up into a sneer. Do you want to die? All right, I'll fulfill your wish. No one knew why Ling Xiao was so confident. Facing 3 demon generals, he still dared to say such words. Father, Jian Luoying glanced at Sword 18. In fact, there was no need for him to look. Sword 18 had already rushed out. However, he was quickly stopped by Devil Orchid. Beautiful demon, let him go. I can agree to any of your requests. Jian 18 was very clear that his strength was at most on par with Lan Meima. If Lan Mimi blocked him, he really wouldn't be able to save Ling Xiao. Impossible. He almost killed my daughter. If it were you, would you let him go? Lan Meima sneered. Looks like you have high hopes for him, but it's no use. No matter how talented he is, he won't have any chance of survival against those three. Jian 18 didn't waste any more words. He knew that only by defeating Lan Meima could he save Ling Xiao. Since negotiations had broken down, there was nothing more to say. Just fight. He only hoped that Ling Xiao could hold on until he defeated Lan Meima. Be careful. He has the Golden Crow talisman. Chen Luo wasn't in a hurry to attack Ling Xiao because he was very wary of the talisman on Ling Xiao. That's right. Once the Golden Crow talisman is used, any martial artist below the peak of the 17th level of hell in the first cycle of Yin Yang will have no chance of survival. The Heavenly Demon General was also very cautious. His cultivation was at the peak of the 17th level of hell in the first cycle of Yin Yang. Earth Demon General's cultivation was on par with his. Chen Luo's cultivation was only at the early stage of the 17th level of hell in the first cycle of Yin Yang. But in front of the Golden Crow talisman, as long as one's cultivation hadn't broken through to the 18th level of hell in the first cycle of Yin Yang, there was no difference. They knew that this was Ling Xiao's confidence. Ling Xiao dared to fight them head-on. He only has one Golden Crow talisman, and it won't be easy to aim it at us. Just be careful. Earth Demon General knew how terrifying the Golden Crow talisman was. But if the three demon generals couldn't even hold Ling Xiao back, then it would be too embarrassing if word got out. Lan Meima, if you want to kill me, I'll make your demon dragon sword court suffer heavy losses. Ling Xiao suddenly looked at Devil Master Lan Meima, who was fighting with Sword 18. I'm no match for you, but killing a few demon generals isn't a problem. Moreover, don't forget that those participating in the Black Tortoise Seal contest this time are all geniuses other than the Devil Master's mansion. If I were to annihilate all of them, I'm afraid your Devil Dragon Sword Court would suffer a great loss, right? Ling Xiao used the Golden Crow talisman to intimidate the three demon generals and had the right to negotiate. Other than the Wine Demon Manor, everyone else wanted his life. That was fine. Today, he would once again be the executioner. He would kill everyone who wanted to kill him. He entered the ultimate heavenly rat beast soul transformation state again. The power of the sky dragon, white tiger, and godly phoenix poured into his body at the same time. At the same time, he released the first level of the bloody rat's power. Behind him, 6 phantoms appeared: General Nine Snake, Purple Lightning Bull, Three-Headed Lava Hound, Tyrant Blood, Demonic Dragon, Black Striped Flying Tiger, and Jade Rabbit. Among them, General Nine Snake and Purple Lightning Bull Beast Souls could increase his combat strength. As for the rest of the Beast Souls, they were too low in quality and could no longer increase his fighting strength. He had summoned them because he wanted to use their special abilities. As for the Undying Bird Beast Soul, he didn't want to use it for the time being. He didn't want to expose his identity as Ling Xiao, who was on the bounty list. What kind of monster is this guy? How can he have so many martial souls? This scene really scared everyone out of their wits. They had never seen Ling Xiao fight at full strength before. Today, apart from the Tyrant Sky Martial Soul, the Butterfly Lady, Yuan Venerate, and Little Gold, Ling Xiao had basically used all the martial souls he could use. It was really a little scary. However, this wasn't the end. Wind Array activate. This array increased speed and agility. Metal Array activate. This array mainly increased attack power, but it also increased defense power. Earth Array activate. This array greatly increased defense and attack power. Wood Array activate. This array greatly increased recovery power. Ling Xiao used 4 array formations in one go and consumed a lot of mid-grade spirit stones. However, it was worth it. The enemy he was going to face today was too strong. Ling Xiao had no choice but to give it his all. Stop him! They sensed the terrifying aura released by Ling Xiao's body. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.